Why get an inferior shave when you could have the best? Why choose ordinary lubrication when you could have the richest? Why settle for average protection against razor irritation when you could have the most advanced, giving you the closest shave with less irritation? Edge Gel. Ultimate closeness. Ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
Hi, honey. How did your checkup go today?
Fine. And the vet recommended something for our pet odor problem. Arm & Hammer Pet Fresh. It absorbs odors naturally with baking soda. Veterinarians recommend it, and it won't irritate our pets.
The house smells so fresh, you'd never know we had pets.
Arm & Hammer Pet Fresh Carpet Deodorizer. Safe around pets.
Recommended by vets.
Arm & Hammer introduces a new way to fight the toughest pet odors. Pet Fresh Super Fresh Scent for long-lasting freshness.
Your hair changes, finesse adjusts. Conditions more when you need it, less when you don't. Your hair's always beautiful, no matter what.
A teacher's accused of sexual assault.
You know how he likes to flirt with all the girls? Well, this time he may have taken it too far.
An all-new 90210 Wednesday.
A quick reminder. Lubriderm lotion heals your dry skin and protects it. Remember, the one created for dermatologists is the one that heals and protects. See you later, alligator.
Introducing Benadryl Allergy Sinus Headache Formula for allergies that hurt, from sinus pain or a headache. When allergies come on strong enough to hurt, new Benadryl Allergy Sinus Headache Formula comes on stronger.
Your teeth aren't flat, are they? Of course not. If they were, a flat brush would be ideal. But since your teeth are shaped like this, we designed our brush like this. Introducing Crest Complete. Your dentist uses special instruments that get between teeth. Crest Complete gets between too, up to 37% farther than the leading flat bristle brush. So to help maintain a dentist clean at home, get new Crest Complete. Only Crest could make a brush this complete.
Hi, it's me again, the TV. Look, if we're going to spend quality time together, I think we need to open up a little. So, I'm a Taurus. Turnoffs are dust, power surges, and people who flip the remote. Favorite reading? TV Guide. Because TV Guide has the best stories about me. So you're tuned in and we have a better time together. Now, tell me about you. Ooh, out of time. This issue, help your kids find something good to watch. Oh, and don't watch TV in the dark.
Wednesday, Allison discovers a secret about her new lover that could ruin both their lives on an all-new Melrose Place Wednesday.
Basically, I thought all toothpaste were the same. But then on a visit to my grandmother's, I tried her Arm & Hammer dental care. And wow, it was a special feeling, like a burst of clean. My mouth felt so clean and so healthy that it was just like leaving the dentist office. Then I heard that more dentists recommend Arm & Hammer than any other baking soda toothpaste. I see my dentist really often, but now I get that fresh from the dentist feeling every single time I brush.
Get Arm & Hammer Dental Care for that healthy, fresh from the dentist feeling of clean.
Forget about tug of war with your pantyhose. Ow! Nothing's more fitting than Legs Classics.
Nothing beats a great pair of legs.
Every day, you've got the choice to feel your most beautiful with Salon Selectives.
Choose to be your most beautiful.
With shampoo levels and conditioning types, choose your combination and feel like you just stepped out of a salon.
Introducing a different air freshener, new Glade Nature's Collection.
Give me fresh, give me clean, give me Nature's Collection.
Glade's collection of nature's freshest fragrances in a spray and a carpet deodorizer. It's different, never heavy, always light to freshen any room.
So fresh, so light. Give me fruit, give me green, give me Nature's Collection.
New Glade Nature's Collection from SC Johnson Wax.
Nature's Collection, yeah.
Thursday, after The Simpsons, Martin's best friend moves in and becomes the house guest from hell on an all-new Martin, followed by an all-new episode of The Heights featuring the hit single Talk to an Angel, Thursday.
kills germs just like it always did. It fights plaque and the gum disease gingivitis just like it always did. Now it does one thing it never did. Introducing Cool Mint Listerine. With an exhilarating, cool, minty taste. New Cool Mint Listerine Antiseptic. Works like Listerine, tastes like cool mint.
This isn't the Accord or the Camry you were talking about.
I know.
This is so sporty.
I got a V6 engine and standard anti-lock brakes.
Is it fun to drive?
It's great. The control and the power, you know, for passing and that kind of thing. And it was a couple thousand less than the Accord or the Camry.
Really? What is this?
It's a Pontiac, the new Grand Am.
Good for you.
When I was in junior high school, I was waiting tables just so I would have extra spending money. And now here I am 12 years later with a degree in my back pocket, and I'm still waiting tables. Companies were not hiring new people. There were less positions available. I think the Republicans have abandoned my generation. The Democrats appeal to me because I believe that they understand what's happening in this country and they have the ability to fix it.
I'm a big kid with pull-ups, wow! Big kid pants make me big now.
Introducing new Pull-Ups training pants for girls and boys with customized leakage protection right where girls need it. And new boy Pull-Ups are customized too. Now more than ever, big kid confidence begins with Pull-Ups.
Mommy, wow! I'm a big kid now.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime now has a maximum strength cough suppressant and a maximum strength antihistamine. So you get the relief you need to rest without alcohol. Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime. Tough medicine without alcohol.
Cleaning toilets is a lousy job, so I invented 2000 Flushes Blue to help you. It's loaded with detergents, cleans and deodorizes automatically, up to 4 months. Try my 2000 Flushes Blue. Cleans your toilet with every flush.
Thursday, it's Halloween at The Simpsons.
Behold mighty Caesar in all his glory.
And all you Simpsons, followed by Martin, Thursday.
It's hot, or it's not. It's mild, or it's wild. It's a little of this, or a lot of that. It's what you make it, however you take it. Ortega, it's mix to the max.
Forget about tug of war with your pantyhose. Nothing's more fitting than Legs Classics.
Nothing beats a great pair of legs.
Now introducing a dandruff shampoo just for women. Selsun Gold for women, with the #1 doctor-recommended dandruff medicine, plus our new conditioning system. New Selsun Gold for women, effective on dandruff, gentle on hair.
If you think it's tough getting elected now, just wait till the end of the world.
Under my leadership, we will all live forever.
Whoops.
No one in their right mind would buy this.
I'm voting for you.
An all-new episode next Sunday.
Of all the weapons used in the world in the last 40 years, none had more power than this one.
Thursday, The Edge's Julie Brown hosts a night of screams with special all-new Halloween episodes of The Simpsons and Martin. Thursday on Fox.
The experience of buying a $60,000 car is, to say the least, different.
You get to walk around a showroom without looking over your shoulder. Nobody makes you have a conversation you really don't want to have. And you're given all the time you need to make your decision. It's a pretty nice way to shop for an automobile. And it feels even better when the car you're looking at costs around $13,000.
For salon beautiful styles, Salon Selected brings you 2 styling lines. Choose the moisturizing to replenish, the bodifying to add volume.
Choose to be your most beautiful.
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good evening. This is my second time up here, but I'm having a bit of a technical issue. So I really appreciate your patience while I figure that out. Anyways, yeah, this is my second time going live. Because as you guys know, I like to cover the shitty, unethical, crappy people on YouTube. But I also there are also crime cases that I feel pretty passionate about, and the one that I was covering earlier is one that has definitely got my attention. So I was discussing that, and it's a pretty it's a case that just I'm totally just invested in. It's pretty crazy. And a lot of people are going to be talking about it once it goes to trial. But I am hoping to have a special guest with me to discuss that case next time I go live. But this stream is all about having fun. So now, what I like to do, I'm having a little bit of a technical issue with it right now, but what I'd like to do, and what I planned on doing, was going over one of Canceled Karen's, aka the Critical K, one of her Patreon streams, since all she can do is put things behind a paywall, since YouTube has booted her off not once, but twice. And we always have fun when we cover her stuff. Now, I'm just waiting on something here. Wow. But yeah, it's definitely a whodunit, Evil Queen. It's definitely a whodunit. But yeah, and I appreciate you guys being here. Those of you who are here for the second time, and those of you who are, night owls, and those of you who are even not night owls and still here anyway. So that means a lot to me. But give me just 1 second here while I figure out my little technical issue that I'm having. Okay. All right, cool. Let me so okay. We're good now. All right. So yeah, so now the thing is I haven't even watched this yet, but as we all know, those of you who do follow crime cases, Suzanne Morphew's remains have been found, and it's sad that she ended up deceased, but we all pretty much prepared ourselves for that, seeing as law enforcement had already pronounced her deceased and charged Barry Morphew, her husband, with her murder. Now, the issue, um, the issue is that the charges were basically dropped because they didn't have enough evidence. It doesn't mean he didn't do it, but the charges were dropped, and they were dropped without prejudice, I think is the term. Is either with or without. I'm not a lawyer, I don't know these things, but whatever it was, it means that they can charge him again. Absolutely. Now, the good side of them finding her remains, is the silver lining and all that, is that her family can finally get closure. They can hold a service for her, bury her properly, or however they choose to deal with that. But at least this brings some more closure to her family. Now, someone's responsible for it, and that person needs to be held responsible, of course. And I am of the opinion that Barry Morphew will get charged again, but I am not of the opinion that he will be convicted, because now, hopefully, if he is responsible, he will be, because it's been 3 years, and I would imagine that the elements probably have some sort of effect on the remains and how much evidence they can collect from her remains. And that's a very sad thing. Now, let me do this real quick. But hopefully, they will be able to collect enough evidence to get a lead, and even if Barry is not responsible, they will find somebody who is. But I absolutely think that their focus is going to remain on Barry, since Barry is suing the county for $15 million for wrongfully charging him, or looking through tunnel vision, as he put it, on him being the only suspect. Yeah, Rotten Ralph, there's a lot of information out there. So they can gather more evidence. I'm just afraid that finding her remains and finding them 3 years later, and they weren't even looking. They weren't even looking for her. They found her looking for someone else. And I wonder if they found the person that they were looking for. But they were searching for someone else, and they found Suzanne and identified her. I can only imagine what that reaction was like with law enforcement. But now we're gonna go ahead and now, Canceled Karen, she hasn't been going live and doing these Patreon streams, which are behind a paywall always now, because it's really her only outlet of being able to do so. It's her only platform, and her content is not worth being put behind a paywall. And the truth is I've had this long time rivalry with her, and I just enjoy streaming her content because it trolls the shit out of her, and I like to offer it for free with my commentary, of course. So we're gonna hear Canceled Karen's. Now, the thing about Canceled Karen, I haven't even watched this yet, but I'm making a prediction. The thing about Canceled Karen's content is what it's always full of is the opposition of what everyone else is thinking or saying. And she calls it critical thinking. But it's not critical thinking. It's just trying to ruffle feathers, as she puts it. She likes to piss people off. She likes to make people mad. She likes to, and it got her sued. It got her sued for $10 million. She didn't have to pay the $10 million because canceled Karen doesn't have $10 million. So, but she was ordered to pay $500,000. And she is in debt now for $500,000 to Ray Andriacchio, the mother of Christian Andriacchio, who she, according to a court of law, defamed and did so repeatedly. So, I like to pick on these people who like to pick on victims. It's just fun for me, and I know it pisses her off when I when I stream her content, especially when she puts it behind a paywall. So, let's just get into that.
Long. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know.
I don't even know either.
I don't know if anyone even.
Okay, now she has on panel with her biggest simp. Okay, now she has on panel with her biggest simp and most faithful of all her simps, Kath. I mean, she's her little lapdog who, before Queen Bee was her lapdog, it was Kath. But Kath was always the number one lapdog. Now we have now I just gotta say, you know, I mean, Kay, I would be remiss if I didn't.
Ooh, you suck.
Yes.
Retirement.
No. You brought me out of high.
We're coming back.
Yeah. Guess back again. Tell a friend. No lie. I just settled in. You know, was gonna.
What the fuck are you
do
talking
a bit
about?
of gaming. You know, I have myself. I have one glass of red wine. And then like, okay, I'm sleepy. I can go to bed. But I've been cleaning.
Yeah, that means one bottle made of glass.
Yeah, and it's a normal day. You know, it's just another normal day.
Bro, fix your shit, lady. Like, people are paying for this.
Hey, Joe, we're gonna wait for the fill a little. We've already seen the numbers climbing up there, but we'll wait till I have a few peeps in, and then I'll read the article and we'll kind of go over what we know. But as I was saying to Catherine, sit my very cheap caps. I've turned to this, but I can't do Peter Velo well. I can't bring myself down that level. I'm doing Woodbridge, which is like a step up from Peter Velo. And then I got the big, like you see in the restaurant, the big ginormous thing for like $12 of Woodbridge. I'm like, is this just gonna have to?
Oh my gosh.
But red wine has really been my thing. Like my thing lately has been vodka martini, blue cheese, olives. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, Elizabeth,
No.
can y'all?
Nobody can hear you.
I got over 20 people in here already. So somebody let me know. Can you hear me?
Now, I can't see her chat, so I can't see like if people are like, no, you're glitching like shit.
Just give me a ye or a knee in chat. Well, anyway, like it's just people. Another day. You know, I wasn't. Who could have seen this coming? And I thought that's just.
I think she had to settle for shitty internet because you know she's fucking $500,000 in debt now. So.
Really happens is it sort of happens in its own time when people are found murders are it's just has to happen in its own time. I'm echoing.
You're not on my end.
Yeah, see, that's totally her because Kath.
Echoing.
Kath is like on her phone and she's clearer.
Is it me that's echoing? All right, let me try something.
Let me try something. Hold on. Yeah, here. Hold on, folks. There you go. Dial it in. She's almost there, guys. She's almost got it. Wait, nope. Oh yeah, Trina Trixie. Yeah, that was
All right.
Labia Boy.
Is that any better?
Labia Boy.
She says it sounds funny, like it's skipping.
Yeah, because you suck. Yeah, Labia Boy, Trina Trixie. That's what I used to call him. Louis LaDouche. Yeah, hey Clara. Listen, Clara. I don't think it's really nice that you that you talk like this to Kay. Kay is the queen, Clara. Kay is the queen. Like, bro, shut up, bro. You know, I called him Labia Boy because like he wasn't even the entire pussy. He was just the softest part of one. So that's why I called him Labia Boy.
Oh my god, I hate this stupid. I might have to reboot my computer because that's what's fixed it in the past. But is that any better?
No. I mean, yeah, but
a little better. All right. Is it better, Mousy? Is it much better or marginally better? Because if it's only marginally better, I might have to reboot my Mac.
I have to reboot this blasted.
Carla, is it okay? She's
Why is
saying
she?
yes, it's better.
Why is she watching her?
I'm using a microphone that legit has dust on it because I haven't used it in so long. Now my microphone that's down, tin sound. All right, what if I pull the mic up a little closer? And the problem is I'm blind as a bat. What if I pull it a little closer? She's laughing.
What if I
I really don't want to sit here and hold
What
this
if I pull it a little closer?
Perfect.
So how did you like that?
Loved it. I want to ride that horse again sometime. Ooh, yeah.
Hey, as I was just saying to Catherine, I've got Catherine on the show with me because this is kind of our baby, isn't it, Catherine? Like this is our case together. Right?
Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, it's our baby.
It's our baby, and I hate to put it that way. Oh no, there goes my dog. My dog coughing. Can you hear my dog coughing?
Yes.
You guys, it's terrible. And
People
I'm,
pay
so
for this
depressed
shit.
about it.
What?
And I don't mean to say that irreverently, like this is our baby in a case, but we did get kind of attached to it. And we do care about Suzanne. And Catherine and I probably talk about this case
This is what you call, when it comes to CK, this is what you call a disclaimer. Okay. This is a disclaimer. She's saying we do care about Suzanne. That means she's going to talk shit about her just shortly. Oh my goodness, Lisa Oldham's. Oh my goodness.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super.
Thank you, Lisa Oldham's. Oh my God, someone worse with tech than Bets, right? Exactly. Amazing.
Every time we talk, don't we?
Yeah, we were just talking about it last week.
Yeah, we were just talking about it last week. And what is something that I have consistently said? I have consistently said they absolutely have to find her remains, and that I understand why they hadn't up to that point of when the charges were dropped against Barry. And
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? Seriously?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean,
but I understood that because I know the train out there, and I know how difficult, what a daunting task it must be for law enforcement to find somebody in that region of the country. I mean, like I was saying to you, nearly every town is separated by mountains or valleys, or it's not easy to get from one town to the next. You oftentimes have to take these like switchback roads and mountain roads, and you're going through mountain canyons and canyon drives.
Please.
No offense, but you are a stupid asshole.
And it's not always as the crow flies, so you sometimes have to go weird routes to get to places. And
wow, thank you, Captain Obvious. Please tell us more about the intricate science behind a search for a missing woman's body. You have to look. Sometimes you gotta take turns in the road. You know what I mean? Maybe, just maybe, I don't know. You may not be in a straight line.
It's that terrain there is so serious that it would be easy, very easy, to conceal remains and have them not found. So I never really had this position that, the authorities are failing because they're not finding Suzanne's remains, even though you and I think both of us were pretty solid on her no longer being alive. Wouldn't you say? We may have had a little doubt.
Bro, everybody with common sense, and I hate to say this, but this goes into the difference between a shit fucking YouTube creator who covers crime cases and missing persons cases versus somebody with any empathy at all whatsoever. Okay? Like, everyone with common sense assumed the worst. They did. Considering all the facts, considering how long she was missing, nobody thought that she packed a bag and moved to Brazil. Nobody thought that. Everyone thought that she was likely deceased. More than likely. Okay? That's just common sense. But the thing is all of us with decent hearts and a sense of empathy, what we do is we hope for the best. Even though our common sense tells us different, we still hope because there's that shred of possibility that she's alive, because she's just missing. So the rest of us have at least a shred of hope because of that shred of possibility that she's still alive. Because until you find a body and it's identified to this point, until that happens, it's a shitty thing to not hold out that hope. Because you want to keep people looking. You want law enforcement to continue searching and continue their search and keep the public with their eyes peeled in case they see her somewhere. Even though it's not likely, but decent people, once, and I say this every time, once you take away that hope, people stop looking. And then that person's lost. That person's name is lost. Everything is lost. So you don't get some sort of fucking, you don't get some sort of brownie points here because you assume that she was dead. You're a dick.
But not much.
Right. Yeah.
And we both agreed that it was likely that she was no longer with us, and it would just be a matter of somebody either stumbling upon her.
Bro, you know how many cases I talk to somebody, like one of my very few friends that I keep on this platform, and then I talk behind the scenes with one of them and discuss what we actually think versus what we say publicly, until it's not irresponsible to say it publicly. I mean, there's all kinds of cases where it's like, well, what do you really think? Like, we're not live here. What do you think? You know, like that's what you do, but you don't fucking do it on a live stream. You don't sit there and tell your whole audience, hey, forget it. She's probably dead. That's a shitty thing to do, because then people stop holding out hope.
Or they somehow get a lead in some way, something in the evidence that they overlooked or missed that might lead them to a specific area where she could be found or where she could look. But over the years that this case has gone on, people have, I think most people have at one time or another speculated that she could have been in a mine shaft. And so just to give a little perspective to people, Suzanne Morphew's home sits on a mountain road that sort of
They fucking searched that shit, bro. Like, that's totally irrelevant. She was found 50 miles from her house.
Between a branch of the South Arkansas River and a mountain range that leads into, and I can't remember the name of the range, but I think it's the Gunnison National Forest, but I don't know if there's a specific name for the range. But it goes, if you turn left out of Suzanne's home, left or west, you go into a mountain pass known as Monarch Pass. And then if you go right, you head into the town of Salida proper. And then from Salida, that region, I think you take a couple jogs and then you go north to Denver. And so to add a little bit of context for people, the arrest affidavit revealed that law enforcement had reason to believe that Barry turned left. How did that go down, Catherine? Do you remember? Did they question him about it?
I would say it was on his truck.
How are you going to cover this and not have the affidavit available? You're fucking, dude, your audience is paying for this. You force them to pay for this for them to be able to watch it. And you don't have the very public arrest affidavit available to review? You know, I if I remember, I don't remember, but I'm gonna make it my content and make you fucking pay for it.
Well, he can't outsmart me because I'm a moron.
Jesus, dude.
Truck data or his cell phone data?
Or did they have something that they weren't 100% sure about, and then they tricked him into somehow saying, oh yeah, I turned left because I saw a herd of,
what was it?
Elk something, you know. Are you there, Kat? Maybe it's
yeah.
Can you guys hear Catherine okay too? I don't know, Michelle. I don't know how. You're falling down on me.
I want to say it was, I think it was his truck data. They had that, and then they ended up questioning him, and then he came up with
I think we got a super chat. I think we got a
Zoomer Mom. Thank you so much. Zoomer Mom says, here's to yawnologues. That's fucking fantastic. Yawnologues. For those of you who don't know, Canceled Karen is famous for her so-called monologues, but they're just a shit ton of bullshit word salad. It's just like, if Canceled Karen could if her masturbating could be put on paper, That's what that shit is. That's all it is. It's just her jerking herself off. It's ridiculous.
Deer elk or whatever it was.
Yes, I think it was Dira. And the thing about it is the arrest affidavit, for people who aren't aware, is quite lengthy. I want to say it's insanely long. It's like 137 pages.
It's insanely long. It's insanely long. Oh my God.
So how did you like that?
Loved it. I want to ride that horse again sometime. Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
We know you do, Kay. We know you do.
And so, to recall that perfectly from memory, I'm not 100%. I'd have to double check that if they had the data of him turning left, or they tricked him into admitting he turned.
Trace the signal.
Left instead of turning to the right. You could be right. They may have had the data. But at any rate, people have...
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
That drew people's attention to Monarch Pass, and Monarch Pass has many mine shafts. So that's always been something that's been tossed around and talked about, and people speculated about, myself including, that she was in that direction. And of course, I have to be very clear, Barry Morphew is innocent. But tonight, I promise you, he's in a world of worry. This is absolutely...
You just heard her say it, right? Like, she didn't allude to it. Okay? Like, she didn't allude to it. She just fucking said it.
But tonight, here, direction. And of course, I have to be very clear, Barry Morphew is innocent. But tonight, I promise you, he's in a world of worry.
Oh shit!
There's many crucial. We both agreed that it's been something that's been tossed around and talked about, and people speculated about, myself including, that she was in that.
How do you know that he was innocent? Like, and I highlighted your Abigail Crochet. I highlighted your comment because I mean, many of us read it. Like, but what's funny is why didn't she pull it up? I think she might, but why didn't she reference it before this extremely disorganized fucking Patreon stream that she charged her diehard followers for? You know, why didn't she pull it up? Ridiculous.
Direction. And of course, I have to be very clear, Barry Morphew is innocent. But tonight, I promise you, he's in a world of worry. This is absolutely huge. This is so huge. This is as big as it gets in terms of developments in a missing person sort of cold. I don't know if this case is technically gone cold. I don't think it has. But let's go over the circumstances. Catherine, kind of summarize them for me while I get the article loaded up. What do you know about the summary of the circumstances?
They really aren't saying much about the discovery quite yet, and they don't want to go forward and say anything yet. But there is no arrest as of now.
Now, why wouldn't you wait? Why wouldn't you wait? See, I did the same thing. There was all kinds of creators out there who, like, dogs to a bone. Suzanne Morphew discovered fine, you know, but all I did was just add it into the live stream I was doing yesterday. Because the thing was there's not any information. It's just that they found her. It's that they found her, and that they found her 50 miles from her house, and that they were looking for somebody else at the time. That's it. That's all the information made available. And everybody, you know, just because they found, I mean, and people did whole live streams over this. And it's like, there's nothing to it. Like, I'm going to wait, and I am going to cover it because I covered her disappearance. I went over all that stuff when it happened, but I'm going to wait until they hold a press conference, until there's more information, because fuck, that's just clickbait, man. I'm going to hold a whole live stream rehashing all the old shit that I already talked about. And this is her, like a dog to a bone, charging money, and she still doesn't know jack shit. She's relying on Kath to know. She has no fucking idea. Like, she doesn't have, I mean, I just gave you the summary. It took 5 seconds. Kath, while I pull up the article, can you just give everybody a summary? Well, there's not much. There's not much, Kay, because bro, they found her 50 miles from her house. They weren't even looking for her. They were looking for somebody else. No press conference. Done. That's it. That's it. That's all of it. Fucking all of it. Now, when there is a press conference and there's more information, then yes, I will do an entire live stream over it when there's enough information. But I'm not going to sit here and sucker you guys into watching my channel to just like stretch out that information as thin as possible just to get you guys to click on my channel. That's fucking ridiculous. I mean, that's exactly what she's doing. Giving a report without reading a book. Exactly.
And the remains, it says here, and this is from CBS Colorado, the remains of missing mom Suzanne Morphew have been found more than 3 years after she was last seen, according to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, which says the remains were positively identified on Wednesday, today. Morphew was last seen on Mother's Day 3 years ago, May 10th, 2020. Her disappearance made national headlines, and the investigation was featured on CBS News show 48 Hours. Suzanne Morphew left behind 2 teenage daughters and a husband, Barry Morphew, who was not only the prime suspect in her disappearance, he was also charged with.
We know all this. And all of, like, the 5 people watching you live talking about this were watching this shit when you were covering it. They know already. They know already.
With her murder. According to the CBI, which is the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the remains were located during the course of a search on September 22nd, which is the day after my birthday. And those remains were positively identified as that.
It's the day after my birthday. It's the day after my birthday. Everybody, you know, raise up for my birthday. Bro, nobody gives a fuck, lady.
Is that of Morphew of yeah, it's just, that's not written very well. Is that of Morphew of Chaffee County by the El Paso County coroner on Wednesday. Investigators were searching in the area of Moffat in Saguache County in an investigation not related to the Morphew disappearance when the remains were discovered. And so most importantly here is we have no details yet in terms of specifically where the remains were found.
So you're charging your audience to get this straight. So you put this behind a paywall. We don't have any details, but you get to listen to me talk out of my ass for however long this lasts.
What condition the remains were, what the remains were in. Were they in a box? Were they in a bag? Were they in, as people have also speculated, in concrete or some form of cement mixture or concrete mixture? Were they found in water? We have they've given us very scant details here, aside from the fact that they were initially discovered 5 days ago by happenstance during a separate investigation they were doing. And so over the course of the past 5 days, they were, I'm going to assume, DNA testing on the remains. And we don't know the specifics of that either, how they were, what they had, what they tested. but they have a positive identification. And what's so crucial about this, well, there's many crucial things, but chiefly for me is because this case has gone on for so long, nearly 3 years, right? 3 years?
It's a little over 3 years.
A little over 3 years? Well, 2020, yep. So a little over 3 years. This case was a huge one for me, and I came to really care about Suzanne. And
she always does this. Like, now it's about her. She doesn't know shit about what she's talking about. And she made that clear. We don't have any details. We don't know what's going on. I'm just doing this fucking stream because, it's a development, but it's not really a development. So I'm going to talk about me.
And I expressed in nearly every show that I did that my heart and my instincts were telling me that she was gone and that she wanted to be found and have a proper burial and have a place where her daughters can go to remember.
Did you figure that all out on your own? That she would want to be found and have a proper burial? Jeez, man, that is some, man, I had no idea that you had this type of insight. I mean, that's some psychic shit right there. Suzanne Morphew. I feel like she wanted to be found. Have a proper burial. Genius. Just pure genius.
Remember her and to have some connection to her. I felt in my heart and in my gut instincts that Suzanne would not.
Like, no, you could tell that she can tell that she's talking completely out of her asshole. It's fascinating.
A woman would want to just be, and I'm going to cry, lost, gone, just
my God.
Disappeared, and have that uncertainty in the minds of her children, whom I believe without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that she loved beyond anything in this world. And she would want that closure for them. She would want to have a proper Christian burial where her remains can be properly handled with honor and decency and dignity. Anybody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be, and we don't know, again, we don't know the circumstances. We don't know yet if her remains were found in the wilderness. Were they, again, in a body of water? Were they concealed in something? Were they, were they weighted down? Were they in a Tupperware container? We don't know any of those details yet. And of course, this is going to become a bigger.
So far, the theme of this entire stream is, we don't know. We don't know. Yeah, no shit.
And bigger story as those details emerge. And along with that, there's going to be a discovery of, hopefully, some sort of tangible, real evidence to indicate who did this to her, how it happened to her. Hopefully they will be able to figure out what happened. That's something that's going to be gleaned in the days to come. It's going to be gleaned. What damage can they determine in an autopsy? And I'm sure they have possibly already done that. But what damage can be gleaned from the remains? Is there damage to the hyoid bone? Does she have a injury to her?
Now, I could be wrong. In all seriousness, I could be wrong. But I'm speculating right now that if they found, I mean, I'm speculating they already did an autopsy. I agree with her on that. But, well, no, never mind. Because I'm thinking like, if they found any evidence, but it could take time, and like whatever they're testing, if they performed an autopsy, I'm sure there's testing to be done on whatever they do find, and that's going to take some time. But I guarantee you, one thing that I do agree with her on is I think that they are absolutely looking for a way to connect this to Barry Morphew, instead of looking at it in a way to find out the absolute truth. I think that they're absolutely looking to pin this on Barry Morphew, and I think that a lot of that motivation is because he is suing for $15 million. And if they can't connect this to Barry Morphew, he's going to win that lawsuit, or he stands a good chance of winning it.
To her skeleton that indicates a stabbing or shotgun wound or a wound to the skull. Is there a skull fracture? What has been found? We don't even know that yet.
We know we don't.
But it seems as though I was right again.
Yeah, everybody take a shot whenever she says we don't know.
Right? It was by happenstance, and this is going to go very quickly. If again, if they're able to determine how did she die? Was it by homicide? And how? And is there anything tangible in terms of genetic material that they...
Lady, we already know what they're going to be looking for. We already know that.
Like, Barry.
All she's doing is she's just filling up time. She went live on Patreon for the sake of going live and not losing her Patreon members, because she hasn't been putting out any material. So all of her Patreon members that she has remaining have just been paying for no content. None. They've just been paying blindly, going on, hoping that she's going to come forward with something. And she's in debt for $500,000. And this is her only source of income right now. This is her only source of income. And she's still too fucking lazy to put out any Patreon content for her diehard supporters who actually think it's worth it to pay a monthly fee for she may or may not put something out. Let's just hope that she does. That kind of shit. Like, this is ridiculous.
Or if they can link anyone. I mean, this is kind of still anybody's game, despite the way many people feel. They may find over the due course of this autopsy that there's some sort of forensic evidence that leads in another direction. There might be foreign DNA on the remains, depending on what it is they found. Again, there's so little that we don't know. And just so people are clear, this region they found her, Moffat, which is in Saguache County, that is just due south of Salida. Catherine, can you pull up real quick what is the exact distance between the Morphew?
Okay, so now, Jeanette Rebel, be careful. We don't like to do misinformation here. They have not said publicly, to my knowledge, that is how they identified Suzanne. I have not seen anything new. That's rumor. So I don't know, but I would imagine that would be the only way. Now, don't get me wrong, Jeanette Rebel. It actually makes sense considering that she's been decomposing for 3 years. Excuse me being so graphic, but she's been her body's been decomposing for 3 years. So dental would probably be the most logical, if not DNA, would be the most logical way to identify her. But if I'm going DNA or teeth, this is 2023. I'm gonna go with DNA.
Morphew residents.
So
and
like Colorado to Moffat or whatever, it's like 47 minutes
from Salida to
right, about 50
minutes.
miles.
And what can does it give you any idea what the route may be? Is there a route that goes through? Is there a route down to Moffat that goes through Monarch Pass that you can see?
Now, this is what's really funny. She is so sure. She just said, without, I mean, she didn't allude to it. She didn't imply it. She said, Barry Morphew is innocent. Those were her words. Right? But yet she hasn't done any of this research. Because she's probably going to disprove herself right now. But of course, she's going, but it's the safe route. This is how stupid her supporters are, right? Is there any route that's going to go from Barry Morphew's house to where she was found? Of course, there's a route from where I am to where Suzanne Morphew was found. Does that mean I did it? Like, I mean, of course. Is there any route? Of course there's a route. There's a route to get fucking anywhere. What is that? Are you hoping to disprove and go, oh, well, he would have had to turn right here and a left there to get there. And so I don't think he would have done that. So, well, that means he's innocent. That doesn't fucking prove anything. It makes sense that she would be found somewhere in the state where she disappeared from. That doesn't exonerate him, and it doesn't make him guilty, or it makes him, you know what I mean? It doesn't do either.
That you can determine.
So he would take so you would have to take 285 down to Moffat.
Bro, like, why are you, I mean, she's so lazy that she has Kath on there who Kath can't fucking like show her screen, right? But it's so easy for canceled Karen to simply just look it up. Go on fucking Google Maps or Google Earth, look it up, share your screen for your audience, who's paying for this shit, by the way. But instead, you'd rather have Kath narrate and go, okay, well, he would have to go here and then go there. There's no way to visualize that shit. Why don't you just fucking take a second to do just a little bit of fucking work? Just a little bit of work and just show your screen. Dude, I do that shit. And I'm terrible at research. I do that shit. And I'll look up Google Earth. But you don't see me when it comes to stuff like that. You know, like when it comes to finding like an article that I can't seem to find, I'll ask Cherry for help with certain things, right? But I'll ask Cherry for things that I can't really do myself while I'm in the middle of a live stream because I'm looking at other things and I'm talking but I'm not going to bring Cherry on a live stream and be like, describe what you're looking into right here. I'm going to be like, I'm going to fucking do it myself. I mean, it's real easy. It's not that hard. Just, hey, 1 second, people. Let me look this up. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, there we go. Look. It's not that hard.
Which I know he was on 285. But you also can take 285 to Broomfield.
All right, let me see if I can. Let's see, Salida to.
So Barry could have done it. Big shocker. Of course he could have done it.
but it looks like he would have had to turn left on the 285, which is, wasn't that the road they were?
What did I just fucking say was gonna happen?
Shallow grave, Rose. And I'm breaking up again. God love it. I really don't want this live stream to be.
It's Bullhorn Betty's fucking. It's Bullhorn Betty's long lost sibling. God bless it.
Problematic. Am I still coming in okay, guys? I apologize because look, I'm gonna go on camera briefly.
Oh God. I apologize because look, I'm $500,000 in debt, and I had to downgrade my internet, and I'm using my husband's cell phone as a hotspot. So
Sitting on my couch. I'm holding my camera because I really don't have. If I put it right here in front of me, I have to like lean way over like this.
God,
because I'm in my living room. All right, stop, Cam.
I'm trying to.
Choppy.
I'm trying to.
It's choppy.
I hear you fine on my end.
Through StreamYard.
Yes. I'm not on Facebook though.
Some bullshit.
Is it choppy for anyone else? Because I can try restarting my. You know what? Why don't I just do that? Oh, okay. Jenny Jo says everything sounds good. Okay, so let's
until the next time.
Look at. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the route.
Oh, look. So why did you have her do it?
And of course, my Mac is like getting warm. Hang on. I think because I have it on. I have it at my jewelry making station.
I mean,
and it's not really made for that.
Call me crazy. Call me crazy. But that looks like a straight shot. If you're up here trying to prove that Barry Morphew is innocent, like, that's not gonna help. If you're up here trying to spin the narrative that Barry Morphew is innocent, which you clearly are because we heard you say it, then this isn't helping. I mean, that's a fucking straight shot pretty much. Like, bro.
All right, let's see. Let's take a look at that.
That could be construed right there. Look. That could be construed right there as, hold on, let me look. You guys can see my cursor, right? Straight shot up 285, right? And then boom, right off the highway, dude. Or just, yeah, like just hung a right, was like, this looks like a remote spot to hide a body, to dispose of a body. It's almost lazy. Yeah, no, I totally think he's guilty. I just think it's going to be, they're going to have a hard time proving it. That's all I'm saying. But I totally think he's guilty.
See if that goes through. Okay, so for people that are not as familiar with the story,
more filler.
The Morphew home. Let me see if I can orient myself here. The Morphew home is actually closer to Poncha Springs. So the Morphew home
they're not gonna. I mean, they would have already tracked his GPS and they would have searched there. Like if his GPS were a factor in convicting him, then they would have found her body way before this. They would have tracked his GPS if he was stupid enough to allow himself to be tracked via his GPS on his phone or on his vehicle. Like, but they didn't prove that, and they didn't find her body wherever they tracked him. So
Home is off the 90, right? Catherine?
I think so. Is it off the 90 or 50? Here, I can. Hold on.
Yeah, pull up Puma Path and let me know if it's off the 90. I believe it is.
we need some music for the drive, folks.
I really want to. I need to orient myself and see. Look at here's. Well, yeah. Let's see. Let's do it this way. So now that I have myself kind of oriented,
it looks like 550.
It's off the what?
It looks like it's off 50.
50. Oh yeah. Okay. What did I say? 90.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta put my readers on. Here, I'll open the camera up so people can get a kick out of it.
This is riveting.
I have to wear reader. I'm blind. And I have no makeup on. That's why I'm not going on camera. Sorry, Charlies. All right, let's get back to the article.
Like everyone's like, why aren't you on
camera?
camera?
Has garnered attention from around the world. It has touched our community and the sheriff's office deeply, said Chaffee County Sheriff John Spezzi in a statement. We have never stopped our investigation and will continue to follow all leads in pursuit of justice for Suzanne. No arrests have been made since the remains have been located. Quote, although locating Suzanne's remains is a critical component of this investigation and for her family, we are left with many more questions than answers, and it would be a disservice to conduct a news conference at this time, said Spezzi in a statement. The public is asked to continue to report any information about this case by calling 719-312-7530. Earlier this year, Barry Morphew filed a lawsuit asking for $15 million, saying he was wrongfully charged in his wife's disappearance and, at the time, presumed death. The lawsuit includes Chaffee County, the Chaffee County Sheriff's
we already know all this, bro.
Office, and several named investigators in the case, including those.
I literally read that exact same article yesterday. I spent 5 minutes on it. I spent 5 minutes talking about this.
Working for the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and the FBI. Suzanne disappeared after leaving her home for a bike ride on Mother's Day 2020, and what happened next remains a mystery. Her bicycle was found down a steep ravine off Chaffee County Road 225 from Highway 50. Deputies said the bicycle did not look like it was involved in a crash, and there was not any blood at the scene. After she went missing, Barry Morphew told CBS News Colorado that he believed she was abducted. During the investigation into her disappearance, friends told detectives that Suzanne and Barry had been arguing about finances and that Suzanne may have had a boyfriend.
Today, Junior!
Investigators recovered documents from Suzanne's iCloud account as part of evidence. One of those documents was a list Suzanne made on May 8th, 2020, entitled Grievances. It included notes like wedding ring, which Barry allegedly took and melted at some point. She also noted women on Facebook, which Barry told her was good for business, as well as an incident in Mexico where Barry tried to take her phone away and look at it. On the morning of May 6, 2020, Suzanne sent Barry a firm text that indicated she wanted to end the relationship. The text was found in Barry's cache, indicating it had been deleted. It read, quote, I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly, end quote. Barry's reaction involved.
Now, this is where, okay, like you see the shade she throws, like when she reads Suzanne's quotes, She does it in this evil, spiteful voice.
Threats of suicide. Quote, when I'm dead, which won't be long, you guys will be taken care of, and I'm going to see my savior. End quote. On the morning of May 9th, 2020, a day before Suzanne was reported missing, 59 communications were exchanged between Suzanne and the man who apparently was her boyfriend.
Here we go.
Barry Morphew was arrested May 5th, 2021 on charges of murder after deliberation, tampering with physical evidence, and attempting to influence a public service. But the case was afflicted with complications. In December 2021, the judge assigned...
The case was afflicted with complications because the DA did not have her shit together. That's what it boils down to. It's not that he's innocent. It's that the DA got impatient, was blind with ambition, and decided to charge him with very little evidence.
Preside over the case removed himself after defense attorneys raised questions about a conflict of interest. They had questions about Judge Patrick Murphy because of his relationship with a lawyer handling the case of Barry Morphew's alleged girlfriend, who may have been called as a witness in the trial. In February 2022, the murder trial was moved from Chaffee County to Fremont County. At the time, officials stated, quote, because of the size of the community and the pervasive negative pretrial publicity since Suzanne Morphew's disappearance, the court finds that a fair trial cannot take place in Chaffee County. This is a high-profile case in a relatively small county with a small jury pool. The media saturation is high, end quote. In March 2022, Barry's lawyers asked for a dismissal after they received an internal affairs document surrounding the Colorado Bureau of Investigation agent in charge, Joe Cahill. In a court filing on March 1st, the prosecution says the defense is taking bits and pieces out of context, end quote. In the internal affairs document, Cahill stated, quote, the arrest of the suspect now is the worst decision that could have been made, end quote. He went on to say, quote, the arrest of the suspect in this investigation was premature and called it, quote, hasty. Now, let me back up a little bit in that article. They kind of skipped over some pertinent things, didn't they? Oh, did she lose the...
Sorry.
No.
I'm here. I'm trying to look up stuff.
Wait.
So they kind of skipped over some things when they kind of skipped over how she went missing. Yes, her bike was found. And yes, they did this, I consider it to be a fairly thorough investigation of Barry, where the arresting document is 130. It's like a novel.
Oh my God, I don't care.
I mean, it takes you a day. It took me a day to get through it. I think 6 or 8 hours to sit and read and get through it. And it was a significant investigation. And it's pretty damning.
It took me a whole day to read. It took me a whole day. Oh my God, lady. I wonder why. Why did it take you a whole day to read through that? Okay.
I'm retarded?
Bingo.
Of him. But his lawyers were very, very successful in getting things turned around for him. But what was chiefly left out before they kind of jumped to that part is the circumstances under which she went missing. So yes, the bike was found. The helmet, the things were sort of scattered. So like the helmet was found near the entrance to the community, which I want to say is a total of 3 homes and on a cul-de-sac. And her helmet was found at the entrance to that. And then her bike was found sort of down an embankment down by the riverbank, sort of giving the appearance that she...
I mean, he's fucking guilty, bro. Like, he's fucking guilty. She's like basically... she's fucking contradicting her own narrative right here. He's fucking guilty. He's the only one with motive. He was the only one with motive. Like, she was totally in love with somebody else. She was just trying to have a clean break. I don't give a fuck about you and what you do. I'm trying to move on with my own shit. Period. And then homeboy's crocodile tears. Like, he's clearly guilty.
She had some sort of bicycle accident and was dragged off by an animal or a person, or somebody else kidnapped her other than Barry and staged those items in the way in which they were staged. But there was never any real evidence that she had some injury near the bike. And didn't the scent dogs, wasn't there something with the scent dogs? Where did they lose the scent to her? Do you remember, Kat?
I want to say like by the water.
So they did kind of lose her scent by the water.
By the water.
I think so. I'm trying to skim through the arrest affidavit real quick.
So the day she went missing, so just so people kind of, again, to add a little bit of context, yes, there was clear issues in the marriage. And yes, Suzanne did say these things. And yes, Suzanne did have a list of grievances. But as many of us have talked about many times, her grievances were, I hate to say, but they were petty. They weren't, she never really alleged him of any sort of real abuse other than being possessive. I think that came across to most people, is there was a level of possessiveness.
Okay.
And
okay.
A level.
All right. So let me get this straight. So for someone to no longer be happy in their marriage, they have to be abused by their spouse. For someone to simply decide, I'm no longer happy in this marriage, there has to be abuse? Since when? Because here's the thing is, I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't love me. I don't want to be stuck with someone who decided if she went on to cheat, I'd be like, well, you know what? I'm out, you know? If you cheat on me and you're not happy and you say, you know, hey, I just want a clean break. I just want out of this. I am totally unhappy. I am middle-aged, and while I still have some good years left, I want to spend them happy. That sounds perfectly reasonable to me. What doesn't sound reasonable to me is having a response such as, hey, you're never going to leave me, and if you do, I'll kill myself and meet my savior. That's not reasonable. That's somebody who is manipulative and mentally abusive, emotionally abusive. That is not reasonable. I hate to say this, but
level of animosity on both their parts. And his animosity was, hey, I take care of you. I pay all the bills. I earn all the money. Why? And you don't have to do diddly. You have the life of Riley. So you should just be happy and not be so hard on me and not grief me and give me a hard time all the time. Was kind of his attitude.
She cannot help but victim blame people. It's just in her DNA. She cannot help it. Here she goes. Like, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but, and then let's defend the guy who's threatening suicide to keep his wife in a mental and emotional prison. Because whether he's guilty or not of murdering her, okay, she's sitting here defending him, saying, well, I pay the bills, so why the fuck aren't you happy? Well, I mean, that doesn't mean shit. You know? That's what abusive people do. Okay, I want to be very clear about this. That is what abusive people do to keep the abused in the spot that they're in. Abusive people will make their spouse, their significant other, dependent on them. That is what they do. It is a tactic. So yes, it's abusive. You sitting there and going, well, all he was doing was saying, hey, I pay the bills and I take care of you and you live a life of easy, blah, blah. That is exactly what an abusive person does to their significant other. Dummy.
Attitude. And she had these gripes and complaints that she had been making, I think most notably to
these gripes and complaints.
Her best friend and her sister, and to a small extent to her daughters. But I think she was trying to keep her daughters out of it as best she could. She was angry at him in one text message that he had sort of dragged them into it. But her complaints were more so, I think Suzanne may have felt like a trophy wife. Who knows? I can only speculate how Suzanne was feeling. And, you know, there's a certain amount of speculation that you base on those text messages. You try to extrapolate.
Like she's just on damage control. Like she says one thing on one side of her mouth and then tries to damage control what she just said out of the other side of her mouth.
Some of the things that she was saying. She even admitted to her boyfriend that she would give Barry sex just as a chore because it was expected of her, and she did it to keep the peace. But she didn't like to. It was felt degrading to her, and she was not happy in her marriage. It was clear that she had stated she wanted out, but she wasn't really making any overt. It doesn't appear, even from the arrest affidavit, that she was making any overt movements in that direction. She hadn't filed anything.
Dude, when you add all of that stuff together, that is an abusive person. I'm sorry, but it is. If you are threatening suicide to keep someone there and they feel like having sex with you is a chore and they feel degraded having sex with you and they feel obligated to have sex with you, and it's already been made clear that if they don't, you're going to emotionally trap them. That is abusive. She didn't actually make any actions. She's absolutely doing that. She's absolutely doing that. What do you mean she's not making any overt accusations? But no, they're just gripes and complaints, according to her. Gripes and complaints that, you know, she felt obligated to have sex with someone who she was not in love with because she was in love with someone else.
Anything, as far as we know, she hadn't even gotten a lawyer. It was just sort of all talk at this point. And Suzanne was also very accusatory of him having an affair.
Right. And that's also an excellent point. Shelly Babes, excuse me, wasn't Suzanne fighting breast cancer at the same time? This bitch is really pissing me. Yeah, she does that. That's why she got booted off of YouTube twice. But yeah. I mean,
and there is no evidence that he was, but she definitely was.
I mean, let's dive into that for a second, right? So wouldn't somebody, in theory, who is fighting cancer and has someone taking care of them and living this nice and easy life, though, right? Because, you know, having cancer and fighting it, going through chemotherapy, right? That's a nice and easy life, according to Canceled Karen here. Now, wouldn't that person, if it wasn't such a nice and easy life, if it truly was a nice and easy life and she was overlooking this, wouldn't she not gripe and complain about where she is wouldn't she just be grateful about who she's with? Wouldn't near death experience, the fear of death, kind of put things into perspective when you're a grateful, kind person, who Suzanne clearly seemed to be? I mean, and here she is, and wouldn't she maintain the comfort that she's in? Why would somebody who doesn't feel trapped and abused stay, or why would they go to why would they be so desperate to get out of that situation while they're fighting breast cancer and going through chemotherapy? Wouldn't they just stay comfortable? This boyfriend is on the other side of the country, and the way it came off is this guy didn't really feel the same way that she did. Uh-oh. You know what that means, folks. You know what that means.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
I'm loving Ryan Upchurch's new career change there, man. He's just rocking it. Jenny Junk Journal Book Lover, thank you so much. LOL, enjoying this from down under. I'm really glad you are. That means a lot to me that you are watching from the other side of the planet. That is dope. Thank you so much.
And in a very difficult situation where you have this other gentleman is from Michigan, ironically, and married himself with a gaggle of kids. So, it took that strange turn when we found out about that. And in terms of the people who have speculated,
everything that she's saying sounds to me like Suzanne Morphew was desperate to get out of that situation, even knowing that she wasn't reciprocating the same from the other guy. But this person made her feel something that she hasn't felt in a long time, obviously. And he, even though it wasn't a logical choice of a ticket out, it was just something to get her out of the situation she was in. If she's fighting breast cancer, why wouldn't she just stay in that situation? Like, this is the best situation I've got right now. This is my best chance to beat it. Here she is risking her life, literally, to take a chance with some dude who's already married and has no intention of leaving his wife and his family. That sounds like an abuse victim to me. Not somebody who's just ungrateful with gripes and complaints.
Some people have gone beyond speculation into firmly believing that she gone girled. They pointed to a number of irregularities, like she had a green dot card. She was inquiring about living south of the border, I think Ecuador.
What?
She was looking into that. She had made statements to that regard, that she wished she could just disappear herself because she didn't think this had gone. People have, in terms of the people who have speculated, and some people have gone beyond speculation into firmly believing that she gone girled. They pointed to a number of irregularities.
That was your narrative that you were spinning. That was your narrative. See, we can't call you out on it like with proof because your channels, both of them, are gone. But absolutely. Right. And it's the same way, it's the same reason why I can't prove the stuff about a certain creator who I very much don't like, because all of the proof is on her channel, her old channel. Not this last one, but the one before that. All of the proof is on there and gone with it.
Like she had a green dot card. She was inquiring about living south of the border, I think Ecuador. She was looking.
Right. That sounds like somebody who is desperate to get away from an abusive man. Her kids are grown. That's it. I got nothing keeping me here. My kids will understand. Once I get to where I need to go, my kids will understand. That sounds like somebody just trying to make a new life for herself. But that doesn't mean that that's what she did. She's going to fake her own death and put her children through that. And it's been 3 years. And guess what? That narrative that you were spinning on your old channel, on your old channel, that narrative that you were spinning was just now disproved as of yesterday. Because only 50 miles from her home, her body was found. So no, she did not gone girl. So don't sit there and put that on other people and go, the people who speculated and did more than speculate, you did that shit. Everyone fucking knows you did it. Anyone who watched you knows you did it.
Looking into that, she had made statements to that regard that she wished she could just disappear herself because she didn't think Barry would let her go easily without a fight. She didn't think that he would, would you agree, Catherine, that she probably didn't think that it would be easy at all. And there was a certain amount of money, right? There was an inheritance that she had come into that there were some questions about what had been done with that. And she didn't want to leave without getting that back.
Yeah, she wanted her money.
What did I tell you guys at the beginning of the stream? I told you 2 specific things in reference to what I'm getting at. A, I told you that I haven't even listened to this yet, but I could predict. B, she was going to victim blame. And this was going to be all about Suzanne. And that there were disclaimers that were supposed to excuse the shit that she's getting into now.
Money back.
Yeah, she had inherited money from an aunt or
this has nothing to do with anything.
And it was a significant amount. And Barry had invested it or put it in the home or something, and she wanted that money back. There was some disagreements about that.
Yeah.
But I think we have like plenty of evidence that she didn't think that he would let her go easily.
Now,
so it's,
I mean,
and many women
and when I say now, she's just acknowledging it now. That evidence was already there. Everyone already knew about it. The only type of asshole was that was questioning this as some sort of anything beyond what it was, anything besides what it actually was you and your audience. You and the idiots that follow and support you.
I think that's fairly common. So getting back to, again, kind of what was left out sort of in that gap, just to give people some context. The date.
Shelly Babes, she doesn't have a channel anymore. This is Patreon. So for those of you who are just joining, so I love dragging this person. And especially now, since all of her content has to be on Patreon behind the paywall, it's the only way that she makes any money on YouTube. I get a hold of the Patreon streams and then I go over them because I know it bugs the shit out of her.
Day before she went missing, by all appearances, and even the day before the day she went missing, by all appearances, they had.
This is my way of throwing dirt on her grave.
Gotten a meal together. They had gone out and gotten pizza, so they were still sort of. And if you're married and you've been married a long time, you know what I'm talking about. You're going through this, like going through the motions. You know, you're doing the things you have to do. You have to get food. You have to get cleaning supplies. You have to carry on about your basic life, even when you're going through something traumatic or challenging, or you're at a impasse with your spouse. I've never gone through a divorce, so thank God. So I can't really speak to how bad that can get when you're,
which is just fucking shocking. It's just fucking shocking.
Going through a divorce, but and I've been through it as a child when my parents got divorced, but myself, no. So I can only imagine the tensions that are in the home and the tensions that were possibly between them. But it does seem as though they were kind of going through the motions and they were getting meals and doing the things they need to do. And the day before Mother's Day 2020 seemed as though it was possibly just another day up to a certain point in the day. We know that she was alive that morning, that she was having communications with her boyfriend, and her last known act online that I'm aware of is she took a selfie
Here we go.
of herself. And I apologize because I don't have my album brought up, but let's see if we can find that
again.
last picture of Suzanne. So people can get kind of an idea of the selfie. So she was out they had a patio, actually a very nice patio. So here's the selfie. People can take a look at that. Let's get that to open. And there's Barry and his daughters exiting the courtroom when the charges were dismissed. There's Barry and Suzanne in happier times.
She's looking at something else that there's something different than what she's showing.
There's Suzanne.
She's looking at something completely different than
what's a pretty great article. I should put a link to this. And there's the last known picture. How's my audience, guys? Am I still okay?
No, you're not okay because you're showing something completely different than what you're looking at.
How's my my sound? We won't be on much longer, guys, I promise.
Yeah, that's a lie.
I guess someone's gonna have to upload this to Patreon too. Does someone want to volunteer? I love you.
I love you too. So
all right, let's see
that picture at 2:03 p.m.
Shut up!
All right. Oh, all right. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Kat. It's good to see you. Okay. So let's get back over to this.
Okay, smartass. Let's see what this mystery's all about.
There we go. All right, just so people can get an idea. Okay. So she had this patio on the back of her house. And
what patio?
I actually went there.
What are you looking at versus what you're showing? I don't.
And got the lay of the land because in the summer of 2020. So July 2020, husband and twin boys and myself went to visit my mother-in-law like we do every year. And we went to Pagosa Springs, which is south of Denver, south of Salida, because it was a place that I chose because I love hot springs. I have like an obsession with hot springs, and there's a just absolutely fabulous hot springs resort there. I think they have like 40 different hot springs, and the springs are located along the river. I believe it's the Colorado. It might not be though. But we went through Salida. And so of course it was a perfect opportunity. I was like, oh hey, can we go in and so I can get the lay of the land. So we went into the cul-de-sac and I got out and walked around and sort of got a feel for the area. It's very, very woodsy. The house, when you turn onto the road to go into their community, take this little winding path. And it initially goes over like a little
Oh my
bridge.
God, I don't
and
care.
then you get into this real woodsy area and you come to a sign that points you to the left to the cul-de-sac where the homes are. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's quintessential Colorado. And it's tucked in, it's secluded, it's peaceful.
I can't believe people pay for this shit.
It's beautiful. I mean, I would give my right eye to live there. It's so pretty. And it has this beautiful river running behind the property. And when you get in there into the cul-de-sac, to the right is the river and this woodsy area. And it's like
What the fuck are you talking
embankment
about?
that goes down to the river. And the Morphew house is a very unique looking house. It's very beautiful. I believe people can Google it and look up the real estate pictures online. It's worth looking at to sort of, again, add more context to the entire story. But the behind the house, I think they have a massive garage. I
Oh
want to say
my
it's like a 4-car
God.
garage. Sort of behind that 4-car garage, and then deeper further into the property is the back of the house where that patio was. And again, it's very private, very secluded, very woodsy. There's a hot tub back there. So you have the babbling, beautiful sound of the river and the setting in itself. It's just very peaceful, very beautiful. And she had, of course, patio. I think there's a fire pit back there. And she had like patio chairs and the hot tub.
Oh my God.
That her visible butt about there being some activity on her phone later. Do you remember that, Catherine? What the scuttlebutt was that ever proven?
It was never proven, and it came from the defense that they had answered a phone call from Barry. Well, Suzanne's phone answered a phone call from Barry, but it was only like a couple seconds. So that could have been it going to voicemail.
Yeah, that could have been him calling the phone. You know what I'm saying?
Last thing was like in Poncha Springs.
Right.
I forget what time it was.
And then there was.
Please tell me how you had a channel this whole time and you didn't even familiarize yourself with the case that you were actually covering at all. Like, I mean, I will familiarize myself with a case as I'm covering it because I just like to do that. I like to interact with my audience in that way. But like, it's like she didn't even do that at all. She was just like, Kath, you do it. Kath, you do it. But I'm going to use it for content. Like, Kath has all the information. She has none.
There was a ping in Poncha Springs. And so, but see what people need to understand, Salida proper, people always say the story's out of Salida. It's not really. It's more out of Poncha Springs, but nobody says that. They say Salida because that's the bigger. Poncha Springs is, I don't know if it's an incorporation or it's just a smaller, it's a teeny tiny, I think there's a cafe. That's it. It's like the corner of the road. It's just the way those times. There's not her the morning, allegedly left that next morning to go north to Fredericksburg, right? Broomfield.
Was it
Broomfield? I think it was Broomfield. Wow. And that's north of Denver. So all right, let's go back to our map.
So let me get this straight. You just fucking spent like 15 minutes, 20 minutes talking about an area that is completely fucking irrelevant to the entire case, just to tell people that you were there. Great coverage there.
Let's see if we can. So I was right about it being on the 50th.
How does she not see?
They're home.
Yeah.
How does she not see that what she's looking at is different than what she's showing? How could she not see that?
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Let's do Poncha Springs.
Come on. You got it.
I am really curious about the statement that they made about
she pulled it
this
off.
Gives us more questions. What do you think they mean by that?
I I think maybe location wise more than anything. And there's probably nothing left really. So I don't know what they'll actually be able to do.
Again, we don't really know. We
Oh my God.
All right, so here's Poncha Springs. Okay, so in my opinion, without really looking at this, without really doing a deep dive into the routes that whomever. All right, let's see. Let's do it this way.
Wow, dude.
And I think knowing exactly how she was found is going to help a lot too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right.
That's Kath's way of saying this fucking does nothing. This is bullshit. Like, there's no way to know anything because you don't know how she was found. This is totally fucking irrelevant.
Right. I'm an idiot. All right. So people understand.
I gotta hear that one more time. Hold on. I folks, one more time.
And I think knowing exactly how she was found is going to help a lot too.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right. I'm an idiot. All right. So,
too.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right. I'm an idiot. All right. So people. Oh, okay. That's right. That's right. I'm an idiot. All right. So people understand. I don't know how I forgot this.
Truer things.
Okay. So for
have
people
never been said.
to get an understanding. So
Dude,
it goes.
Hit the nail on the head there.
In
Kay.
order from east to west. It goes Salida, Poncha Springs, and then Maysville. So their home was in Maysville. That would have been the small that I'm not sure is incorporated. Poncha Springs is probably bigger. In fact, I know it's bigger. So people always refer to it as Salida. The story is out of Salida, but it's actually 2 towns over. A small town and then an even smaller town. And I believe that the Morphew physical address was Maysville.
I want to say correct on that.
Yes. So just by looking at this, it does not appear to me just immediately that there is a route through Monarch. Let's see. There's Monarch.
What do you mean? You have the route showing.
It doesn't make sense that he would go through Monarch to get down to Moffat or whoever.
What do you mean? What doesn't make
because,
sense?
Look, let's just be honest. Barry is their prime suspect still. That has not changed. I promise you.
It's not going.
They believe that he murdered his wife.
Yeah.
And they believe that he dumped her remains.
Dude, that looks like
it's just as simple as that. I'm not saying that's what
Bro, look at the route. Look at the fucking route. Dude. Listen, people. Letitia Stout drove from, I believe it was it North Carolina or South Carolina? It slips my mind. All the way to Florida. All the way to Florida. Technically, all the way from Colorado with Gannon's body. So let's just call it Colorado Springs. Letitia Stout drove all the way from Colorado Springs to Florida to dump Gannon's body. And this seems unfeasible. And by the way, she covered the Stout case. So This seems unfeasible to her. This is how desperate she is. Colorado to Florida, South Carolina. Thank you, Lisa Oldems. This seems unfeasible to her that Barry Morphew. This is fucking lazy in comparison. Fucking lazy. What?
I believe, and I'm not saying that's what happened, but the facts of the matter are law enforcement, to include the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, to include the Chaffee County Police Department, to include the FBI, Barry is their guy. Barry is the person that they believe did that.
No fucking shit.
And so with that knowledge that they believe that, and they already have 137, 132, whatever number page arrest affidavit listing all of their reasons that they believe that, despite how they've been challenged by Barry's defense team with this recent lawsuit, which I was getting to. This is what they believe. This is what they, as investigators, have hung their hats on, rightly or wrongly. And they outline in the arrest affidavit all of their reasons. So
why wouldn't it make sense? Dude, I would go so far. I would attempt going off the map if I was disposing of a body. What the fuck is she talking about?
I'm going to give a little bit of a more wide view here of the path from the Morphew home down to Moffat, just so people get an idea of what a short distance this is from her home to where the remains were found. If investigators are able to ascertain throughout the course of this investigation as it continues, to include the medical examination of her body, the autopsy examination of her body, if they are able to ascertain some very solid forensic evidence linking him to that region on that morning, and or solid forensic evidence on her remains linking him to her death, to her murder, it's over. It's game over.
I thought he was innocent,
His
though.
little lawsuit goes bye-bye.
I thought he was innocent.
And he is rearrested.
I thought he was innocent, though. Didn't you start this live stream saying he's innocent? So, and what's really funny is it's taken her, let's see, almost an hour to come to this conclusion. When I said this, and you can watch it, yesterday, within the 5 minutes that I talked about this, within that 5-minute window, I said, I don't see them having enough evidence unless they could place Barry in that area. That's what I said. It took her an hour to get to that point. Which, by the way, she's contradicting what she started off saying almost an hour ago, that Barry Morphew is innocent. Wow.
He is eventually extradited.
If they can ascertain.
And they will prepare to try him again.
I can't even believe it. Like, I can't even believe it. Canceled Karen has officially become Bullhorn Betty. It is official.
Now, that's scenario A. Scenario B.
Here comes the narrative.
They are unable to link him to that region in some forensic manner. His car telematics. Is that you again, Kath?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
like every now. Okay, probably. All right, I have to ignore it then.
I find this really funny because Canceled Karen is notorious for shitting all over that person that she's on panel with, which is really funny. Like, and here she is, like, annoyed with the fact that Kath moved and made a clicking noise, a very brief one. She's like, "Is that you, Kath?" Who else would it fucking be? That's her picking on Kath and going, basically, on a live stream, her way of saying, "Stop fucking moving." Because I've seen her. I've been on a Discord call with her and Kath before where she just bitches at anybody with any background noise. And here she is skipping, cutting in and out, and has the audacity to intimidate Kath about one clicking noise. I fucking love it.
If they're able to link him in a forensic manner via telematics or
it's actually
his
a really
phone's
good point.
geolocation.
If they could find a trace of that dart tranquilizer, because that's a theory. So if they could find a trace of that dart tranquilizer in her bones, which I don't know if that would last for 3 years or not, but that's actually a really good theory, Shelly Babes. That makes sense. So that would totally that would be, I don't know if that would be enough, but it would be real strong.
Or
because this is the thing,
some sort of,
they're not going to make an arrest on Barry Morphew anytime in the immediate future. Okay. What they're going to do this time, they're going to learn from their mistakes last time, and they are going to make sure that if they charge him again, they have damning evidence, indisputable, irrefutable evidence. They are not going to go through this and fuck this up a second time. So right now they are building a new case against Barry Morphew. I guarantee it. And it's going to take time. So they're not going to come up with just the dart thing. What they're going to try to come up with is anything. They're going to examine Suzanne's remains so thoroughly. And they're going to forensically try to place him at that scene. They are going to try to find a deadlock case against Barry Morphew, and before they charge him again.
Sort of forensic.
Now, they may not be able to get that, but they're damn sure going to try this time, and it's going to take some time. But they absolutely have every intention, I promise you, of charging him again.
Evidence on her remains. If they're not able to tie him in any way, that's going to be harder for them, especially with this lawsuit sort of standing in the middle of it. See, that's why the lawsuit was sort of strategic. So that lawsuit's kind of in there. They better have their I's dotted and their T's crossed. And if there's something that leads them in another direction, if there's some sort of forensic evidence on her.
Yeah, it's a different DA. And I guarantee you this DA, if he or she is so ambitious, well, they're not going to be as arrogant.
And they have absolutely no belief that Barry went that far south. Then they're probably not going to, but here, I've been right all along, so I'm going to make another prediction.
What?
Because I have a good track record.
Oh my God.
I think they're going to be able to. I think they do.
No.
I think they do have something that is going to tie him.
She's been right all along, y'all. But now she's been right all along, and she says that he's innocent, right? Oh my God, people! I gotta hear that one.
Prediction, because they're probably not going to. But here, I've been right all along, so I'm going to make another prediction because
Today, Junior.
I think they're going to be able to.
Okay.
I think they do.
Okay. So you've been right all along and you just said at the beginning of the stream, you're not even consistent in the same live stream. You just said not even an hour ago in your stream that Barry Morphew is absolutely innocent, right? But now they're going to find something that they could prove in court against Barry Morphew. Dude, which one is it? Canceled Karen, which one is it? Like, what do you mean you've been right all along? You haven't been right about anything.
I think they do have something that is going to tie him, and I think they're going to rearrest him. What do you think, Catherine?
We all know that.
I think your predictions are pretty close.
Let me get this straight. So are you implying that they're going to frame him? Are you implying that they're going to find something and then they're going to put him away even though he's innocent? They're just going to find something? Or are you contradicting yourself saying that he's now guilty? Like, pick a street.
I mean, at the end of the day, justice is what's needed for Suzanne. But I do see it possibly happening.
Them rearresting him?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
But are you with me in that it's gonna have to be something? It's gonna have to be. What I'll say is, I think most people, most reasonable people, when you read the affidavit and even when you read his lawsuit and his claims, his sort of counterclaims to everything that they claimed about him, I think most reasonable people, when they read that arrest affidavit and they read his counterclaims and they then examine the known facts, and now this is a new known fact where she was found, her proximity to her home, she was found so close. She's so close. 47 minutes. How many miles? How many miles?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
50. So that's close. You know, I can certainly envision if Barry did this, psychologically, you might think, well, if I go a little south, I have a cover because I'm going north to go to work. They're going to waste all their time going north, so I'm going to try to throw authorities off by taking her south. And I've always said from day one, whoever did this, be it Barry or a complete stranger, they're not going to go far with her. And I've also always said that I believed it.
What do you mean, bro? Like, what? Are you? Oh my God.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hold on. This is killing me, dude. This is absolutely killing me.
Be it Barry or a complete stranger, they're not going to go far with her.
Bro, I know that you followed the Stout case, you idiot. What do you mean? Why wouldn't they go far with her? First of all, 50 miles away is kind of far, but it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like they found her on his property. But like, What do you mean, be it Barry or a complete stranger, that they're not going to go far with her? Why wouldn't they? What are you breaking down here? That's what I want to know. Like, what's your big theory here? Because you're just not hanging on to anything solid at all. You're saying Barry's innocent, then you're saying they're going to find something and put him away. Then you're saying that, be it Barry or a complete stranger, that they're not going to go far with her body. What do you mean? Where did you come? Like, how did you come up with that conclusion? I'd love to know that pattern of thinking where you just came to this conclusion that whoever killed Suzanne isn't going to go far with her body. How do you know that? Because you've covered cases, I've covered cases. Every YouTuber who covers cases has gone over cases where they were found right there on the property. They were found 10 miles from the property. They were found 50 miles from the property. They were found somewhere across the country. Like, how are you coming up with this conclusion and theory that, they're not going to go far with the body? What the fuck are you talking about?
And I've also always said that I believed it highly probable, based on just the evidence in the arrest affidavit, that she was not deceased, fully deceased, until she was taken to where she ultimately ended up. And we now know is in Moffat, Colorado, which is just south, 50 miles south. I've said this for I don't know how long.
Oh my God.
That
dude.
I don't think she was killed in the home or around the home. I think she was possibly unconscious or near death.
Oh, you mean like hit with a tranquilizer dart and then transported somewhere else? Somewhere where they're not going to find traces of her blood, traces of her DNA that wouldn't be normally found, where she would share things with Barry? What do you mean? Like, did you really put that all together there, Einstein?
When she was taken out of the area or region of her home and possibly killed near where she would ultimately be found. And I've
like, what she's doing here is she's trying to like she's sitting here trying to like predetermine her being right when they finally charge Barry Morphew. Like, she's setting herself up for every possible outcome to where she gets to say that she was right. So at the beginning, where if they charge him and then they can't convict him, or they never charge him because they don't find enough evidence, she gets to say, told you he was innocent. And then if they do charge him, she's predicting the possibilities as to what evidence they're going to find. And the only possible evidence is either the location. They're going to track him to that location in some way, shape, or form, and or they're going to find some sort of sedative in her DNA, in her bones, in her, there's no bloodstream because she's completely decayed by now. But all she's doing now is trying to cover her ass, where she gets to tell her audience, I told you. And then she's going to play a clip of it without playing all the other clips where she's just covering and just throwing fucking shit at the walls, hoping that it sticks. And she always does this.
I've always said too that whoever did this wouldn't drive for long.
Totally.
That would be scary. Just, use your My dog is like so freaking out. I wish I could turn my camera around and show people. Come here. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what's going on because come here. She's so used to I give her one-on-one. It's disgusting in my home. She gets one-on-one, constant, nonstop attention. Do you want to say hi to people? Here, let's do this. Let's let you say hi to people. Come here. Come over here. Come here. No. Come here. Come say hi. Come here. Come over here. Come here.
The dog
Come
hates
say
her.
hi to people.
Her dog
Say
fucking
hi,
hates her.
everybody. Hi, everybody. This is what we do. We spend all you sneeze. We spend all that's what we do all night. We snuggle, we cuddle, we watch TV, we love each other. I'm with my readers. I'm getting old. All right, stop him. Here we go. Have I not always said? I think she's near. She's near. I thought Monarch Pass. I really did. This is kind of a surprising development to me.
Yeah, I did expect her. Like, I thought Monarch Pass only because he drove right there, you know?
Maybe he never did. See, that's where I'm going with my whole, I'm questioning now our understanding of. Yeah, did he actually turn left or did they fake him out? Was that their theory? That he turned left into Monarch Pass and they sort of faked him out by trying to get him to admit he turned that way. Maybe they really have nothing forensically tying him to that Moffat region. And that's going to be a problem, in my opinion. If they can't get him.
But you just said that you predicted that they would after you said he was innocent.
In that area at all.
I know. I'm trying to like skim through the arrest affidavit to see what I can find.
I would certainly remember. If
I don't remember this.
Because see, this, in my opinion, I don't think he would have. That doesn't make any sense. I could be completely wrong. And I think it's an insight.
But you're never wrong. You're always right, according to you, prior to this, you know, but now you could be wrong. I mean, you can't be wrong if you take every possibility and ball it up and throw it against the wall and hope it sticks, because something's bound to stick. So
insight on it tomorrow when I talk to people from Colorado, but I don't really know. I'll be right back though, Catherine. Hang on.
Don't take too long.
What? Don't take too long.
Yeah.
I'll give you just a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh my God.
No.
You're a little cunt.
Right now, she's like choking the dog, probably. You made me look stupid. I believe Kay eats animals. Domesticated ones. Right. Exactly. I think no killer wants to drive around with a body in their car, but still they want to get as far away as possible. And by the way, I'm always right.
All right. I'm back.
What?
Okay. We missed you.
No, we didn't.
I gotta say, my dog. Oh, here we go with the coughing. Why don't you bring it out here?
Lisa's not.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Thank you. But you know what?
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
All right, let's get back to the article.
I'm gonna jump into chat because I gotta cook dinner.
Oh, all right. Just remove yourself Just like
Even Kath is tired of her bullshit. She's like, I'm sick of this has-been bullshit.
Remove your devices. That way you're not fully leaving StreamYard, and then you can come back. See, y'all, Catherine is like 5 hours. I'm past that point. I've done dinner. I've done dinner. Yeah, go ahead and just, you know what I'm saying? Like remove your devices, but stay in the stream.
Now, keep in mind, folks, Kath was eating on the stream earlier. But she's got to make dinner. Yeah, right. Kath was just like, dude, I'm out. Kath was clearly eating earlier on the stream, but she's got to make dinner. Okay.
In the StreamYard.
I don't know how to do that.
Just shut your microphone. Shut your mic up. Oh, there we go. All right, she did. Okay, let's go back to the article, you guys. So hopefully I kind of filled in the little vacuum there. Hopefully people.
Well, Nicole Persley, this isn't live. Like, this is somebody obtained this for me from her Patreon, and so that's what I'm going over.
We'll have a better understanding of kind of what happened. So that was her last known activity was taking that selfie. And then things went dark. And the arrest affidavit, of course, sort of fills this in, obviously, in a much more detailed manner. But the long and short of it is they have no what they call signs of life after that point. She's not using social media. She's not logging into bank accounts. She's not contacting anybody, certainly not contacting her daughters.
All riveting observations.
And so law enforcement made the argument, which I agreed with, just based on my understanding of the story and based on my read of Suzanne as a person. They concluded that she wouldn't just leave her daughters. She wouldn't just gone girl herself, disappear herself, and cause her daughters that level of uncertainty and that gaping vacuum. You know, I can only guess at what her daughters have gone through every single day since their mother went missing. That uncertainty, that mystery hanging up there. So cruel.
Oh my God.
Because that's still their mother. Regardless of any claims that have been made between then and now, or anything that has been said between then and now, whatever people have claimed or said, or I think most reasonable people, law enforcement including, believed Suzanne would not do that she would not deliberately cause her daughters that pain through that uncertainty. That has to be hell on earth. And I have no reason to doubt the love between Suzanne and her daughters. There's no reason to doubt that at all. In fact, everything we know about Suzanne and everything we know about her daughters and what we can see in pictures and we know through communications, there's a great level of love and family closeness and a fantastic mother-daughter.
Nobody's buying this shit. Okay? Nobody's buying this shit because we know that you got sued for $10 million by the mother of a young man who that mother believes was her son was murdered, even though it was made out to be a suicide. It was labeled a suicide. It was determined to be a suicide. No one buys this shit. that you actually give a fuck about what these people's relationship was like, especially when you made her out to be the reason why he committed suicide. You cannot sit here and expect us to believe that you give a fuck about the relationship between a child and their mother. You can't do it. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Bond. And I have my own daughter.
Oh my God.
And my daughter's an adult, but you know, we are very close. And my daughter, it would be a living nightmare if I just went missing and just without a trace and nobody knew. And questions,
I mean, listen, folks.
were hanging in the air.
Listen, I don't want to delete comments, but I try not to like point that stuff out because I honestly don't care what her relationship is with her own kids. So I mean, and I get it. I get you guys are, but I am not interested in what her personal life really is like. Like, I'll make comments alluding to, I can't even believe that you're still married. I can't believe you have a husband that puts up with you. But I don't really want to know what's going on in her personal life. I never have, and I don't want to start now. So if you have that kind of information, please keep it to yourself. I would really appreciate it.
And if her father was accused, it would be hell on earth for her. So I have no reason to doubt that. And every reason to believe that Suzanne would never cause her daughters that pain. And furthermore, every reason to believe that Suzanne would want to be found, would want her remains, however the situation, whatever the situation.
Of course you would.
She would want.
Did you put that together yourself, Sherlock? That if she is murdered and disposed of, that she wouldn't want her remains to be found and put to rest in a respectful manner by her loved ones? Why wouldn't she want that? Are you implying that she drove 50 miles out of the way to commit suicide and say, fuck my family? No. Nobody does that. Nobody does that.
To be found, and she would want to have a proper Christian. And I say proper Christian, I mean a dignified, what we have come to
I'll let her finish.
Appreciate as a civil society.
Oh.
As a civil society.
So a Jewish funeral wouldn't be dignified? A Krishna funeral wouldn't be dignified? A Viking funeral wouldn't be fucking dignified? It has to be a Christian funeral for it to be dignified. That's what you mean by, a Christian funeral. It's got to be dignified. Let's hear that one more time, folks. Let's just hit the rewind button here. Yeah, one more fucking time.
Found, and she would want to have a proper Christian. And I say proper Christian, I mean a dignified, what we have come to appreciate as a civil society.
Okay, so it's not dignified or civil if it's not a Christian one. And you notice that she was trying to find the right way to put it. I love that. I love that she was just like, how do I word this? Like in her mind, she's going, how do I word this? And then totally shit the bed. Like she just can't escape her natural, shitty, fucked up, bigoted way of thinking. Like she just can't escape it. Just like one time where she was on a live stream and there was this dude, Truthy Magoo, who was on her panel and talking about Michael Long and saying, well, why can't he get a job like decent white folk? That is literally her words, quoting, why can't he get a job like decent white folk? That is exactly what she said. So, I mean, she would want a Christian funeral. And I mean Christian because she would want it to be dignified and civil. Okay. Okay.
As a civil society, most human beings want at the end of their life to be enshrined in some way, have our remains physically.
And you have to be Christian for that to happen, because that doesn't happen when you're Jewish. That doesn't happen when you're Buddhist. That doesn't happen when you're a Krishna. That doesn't happen in literally any religion in any culture. You know, all the other cultures are just uncivilized and I mean, come on, man. Like, I love her digging right here. This is just so much fun.
Physically enshrined in some way for our loved ones, whether it be a traditional burial or a cremation, and there's ashes left in an urn, and there's this physical, tangible thing. That's just a part of our culture as Americans.
Right.
So I have every reason
in order to be an American
that would be of the
because folks, you're not a real American unless you're a Christian.
Most in importance to Suzanne's spirit and Suzanne as a human being, as a woman and a mother and a wife. She would want to be her remains be treated with dignity and not just be left out there. You know, everyone who has a soul, it hurts you, it pains you when you find out about somebody who is missing and presumed dead and their remains are not located.
Yeah.
I think that's just a natural reaction that we all have.
Right.
It's hard when when you don't have those physical, tangible remains. And so today,
but only if you're Christian.
Huge.
Just so you know.
It's huge. When I was saying to Catherine at the start of the show, my day is normal. I cooked dinner for the boys. We had breakfast for dinner. I did pumpkin pancakes, which they poop. I don't know. Ethan is less likely to ever poo-poo anything I cook. He'll try it. He's going to give me an honest critique, like yes or no.
Fuck.
But you know, and Gordy did try him too. He's like, I just don't know what to put on them. I said, try cinnamon sugar. They were kind of, I think, thrown off because I've never made them before. But you know, I was trying to be clever and creative. So I did pumpkin pancakes, I did breakfast potatoes, and I did egg bites, which are my new thing right now because I got an egg bite tray for my Instant Pot. And I did ham because I did a ham the other day, so I was doing ham and cheddar. So I did dinner. I've done some cleaning. I'm taking care of the animals. I'm getting hubby out the door, getting him food prepared for him to take to work.
Are you building up for a Christian funeral? What are you talking about? Are you?
And I was fixed. I was like, well, what should I do? I go through this every night. You know, should I go back to the mic? Should I talk again? Should I? And I'm not even going to deny it. When it comes to that point, I go, well, what should I do with the rest of my night? The choice is always easy. I just want to be alone. I want to be alone, and I want to be in my thoughts, and I want to just not have to speak. So I don't. So I'm just, a quiet and alone and in my thoughts and do my own thing, whether it's read or game or watch a watch something on Netflix or Amazon or HBO or, watch documentary. I've been watching from the Miller.
I have never heard someone talk about how they don't like to talk so much. I've never in my life, there is nobody who loves the sound of their own voice more than this asshole that we're listening to right now. Literally nobody. Don't sit here and tell us that the reason why you haven't been going live and sharing content with your Patreon is because you prefer to be alone in your thoughts. That's simply not true. We all know you're full of shit. Everybody here knows exactly that you're full of shit. Like, it's hilarious to me that you expect people to believe this.
Miller hearing. I'm just closing in on finishing up day.
Every fucking live stream she does, she starts talking about herself. Like, I'm real humble, and I like to cook for my kids, and I got a fucking egg ball tray, and and I'm a gamer, and like, yeah, okay. Nobody gives a fuck. And you're lying. You're fucking lying.
Day 3. It's awesome. The hearing. It's a 3-day thing. I've been watching it on Court TV.
Because, by the way, guys, this is only halfway through.
It's so good. It's shocking. Some of the things this kid was thinking about doing. It's shocking. So I've been kind of doing that. I do that late into the wee hours of the morning. And then, the next day, the same thing. But I suddenly opened up my Facebook and saw that somebody commented to me, Kay, you were right again, under a Suzanne post. And I said, wait a minute. If I open Google and I type in her name, am I going to?
Now, Glare, you were right again. Here, let me reenact my best K here. Let me do that real quick for you guys. Glare, you were right again. Critical K, canceled Karen, has turned this stream into being about herself. You were right again. Wait, hold on. Let me go into what's going on in my mind right now. Let me celebrate this the proper way. That's my best canceled Karen impression right there, folks. 100%.
Going to learn that they found her, that they finally found her. And sure enough, I no sooner typed her name in Google, and that was the very first thing that popped up. And I started crying.
Oh my God. Hold on. Let's.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a.
Lisa Oldham's Glare, you were right again. Amazing. Crazy. But hold on, folks. Hold on. Oh my God, here we go. Hold on.
First thing that popped up. And I started crying.
Oh God.
I'm so happy for her daughters.
Oh my God.
And I'm
no, you're
happy
not.
for her
No, you're not.
that she's been found.
No, you're not.
This
No,
is
you're not.
huge. And
Nope.
my heart was beating so fast.
Nope. You might be glad she's dead, because all you've said is that Barry's innocent, and you spun an entire narrative that we can't go back and look on because the evidence is gone. But you spun an entire narrative the entire time that you were covering this case. You were spinning the narrative that she took off, that she gone girled. So stop it. Stop it right now. Anybody who followed you, who's in this chat, knows it. But no, you are not convincing anyone of this bullshit empathy that you're spinning right now.
I couldn't barely breathe. I had to completely collect myself. And I was pacing. I was going back and forth from my bedroom to the kitchen and my bedroom to the kitchen. And I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, I should put my eyebrows on. I need to go. I need to talk. I have to talk about this.
Right.
Because this is huge. This is a huge movement in a case that was important to me. That I care about it. And I care about her. And I'm not even really sure why. And once
I'm not even sure why I care about it. I mean, me and almost every other creator who covered this case can tell you why they care about it. Because she's an innocent, missing woman. Now you can say the things that would require empathy, but you're not fooling anybody, because you cannot fake empathy when you don't know what it's like to have empathy. You have no idea what it's like to have empathy. So you could say all the things that in your little Facebook groups that people sit there and say that you trash, and you go, you don't even know her. How can you sit here and say that you care about somebody you don't even know? Because that is the narrative that goes on behind the scenes in her Facebook groups and in her Discord. And it has consistently been that way. But now all of a sudden, she relates to the people who she loves to kick out of her Facebook groups and her Discord. You idiot. You're a fucking idiot. How can you say that? You don't even know this person. You're sitting here crying over somebody you don't even know.
Once again, just as with the Watts case, I learned about this case probably before anyone else, because I say before anybody else, but for the majority of the true crime community. Because I get Denver news alerts, and I got the alerts about her being missing literally within 16 hours or so of her being missing. And I've been so invested. I physically went there. I covered it.
I'm a critical thinker. I need you guys to think critically. You have to think critically. Don't be a peasant. You're a peasant. You're crying over somebody that you don't even know. You're all peasants and you don't belong. You don't belong in my hierarchy. Get real, lady. You're not fooling anybody. She's telling this to the people who know her most. She's telling this shit to the people who know her best. That's what's funny. It's the only idiots that are subscribed to her Patreon are the idiots that have been following her forever and actually want to pay for this shit. Now, it's worth it for the person who provides me with this to pay for it so that I control her. That's different. That's not an idiot. But the rest of the idiots that are paying for this already know that she's like this, but refuse to pay attention to it. They know that she's full of shit, but they just choose not to listen to it. They go, la, 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 la. Kay, we love you. Even though she'll call them a peasant if they say anything that opposes her. Kick them out, call them idiots, tell them to shut up.
day one. And all of that's on Patreon. All of that coverage I did is on Patreon going back to 2020. That's all on there for anybody who cares. I'm not grifting. But if you want to hear it, it's there.
No.
But I grew to care about her.
No, you didn't.
And in some ways identify with her. And really feel a vested look. And I'm not making heirs. I'm not her family. I have no claim, nowhere near the claim they do, to trying to process this information. I'm a nobody who just cared about her and cared about her story and cared about the case. And when I tell you, ceaselessly praying for her recovery,
the
and
atheist,
for movement in her story, all the time.
The atheist,
all the time, several
praying.
times a week.
Good
I
to
think
know.
about her and the story, and I say a little prayer in my mind that there will be movement and she will get a proper burial. I feel that strongly.
Okay, right.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
Let her know,
That
MacGruber.
she would want that is chief of importance, that she is laid to rest in a dignified, resolute, and final way, so that her daughters can grieve. And so that law enforcement can ascertain more answers in determining what happened to her and how she ended up there 15 miles south.
This is the
of her
biggest
home
crock of shit.
in Moffat, Colorado. And I think I read someone in chat say a shallow grave. It will be interesting to see where the shallow grave was at, what they're able to determine from the remains. Is it a full set of remains? What, if anything, are they able to determine from those remains in terms of determining how she passed away? Is there damage to the hyoid bone? Is there damage to the skull? Is there evidence at all of a stab wound?
She just
or
named a
bullet
bone
wound?
to let
Are
people
they
know that she
able
knows
to
bones.
extrapolate from the remains any sort of bone marrow or anything that they can study and look
God.
at and see if she was given any? Is there hair with the remains that they're able to study and see if she was given any sort of substance or poison or sedative? There's been a lot of speculation in this case that Suzanne was sedated in some way. That again, if you read the arrest affidavit, it becomes clear that law enforcement had reason to believe that there was some sort of sedative at play. They had found a cap to a hypodermic needle in the dryer. They had some questions regarding some animal sedative that Barry had.
But he's innocent.
I believe there was
right?
a sedative injector or sedative gun that was in question, but they weren't able to determine if it had been used very recently. His team rightly pointed out that the animal sedative, that there was no evidence that it was delivered via dart gun or via dart. And so they took issue with the fact that law enforcement claimed that they believe it may have been delivered via dart, but it was not a dart, anything found in the dryer. It was believed to possibly be a hypodermic, and it was in with her daughter's bedding in the dryer. And so, of course, his team had some issue with that. But there seemed to be, again, it just seemed to be that that's the route that they were going, that she was possibly sedated in some way. So are they going to be able to look at her remains and extrapolate?
She hasn't brought up once. Something she hasn't brought up once, which only somebody who actually feels empathy would think of. The fact that if Barry Morphew is guilty, and I do believe that he is, personally, that's my opinion, I do believe that he is, I feel bad for Suzanne and Barry's daughters and I feel for them because they have stuck by their father through this entire thing out of sheer faith, out of sheer, this is the right thing to do. He's my dad. I love him, and I refuse to believe that he could have done anything to my mother. And if and or when it turns out that he is tried and convicted, what they're going to go through, the feelings that are going to churn within them, guilt that they have no reason to feel guilty about, but they're going to feel these things. Humiliation. Because the thing is knowing that their mother's gone and it being official is just scratching the surface. These are young women who have probably already come to terms for the most part, have already come to terms that their mother is no longer with us. I'm concerned for them in the sense that they are going to go through these feelings and they don't need, it's inevitable that they're going to go through these feelings, even though it's not merited. That's what empathy feels like. Knowing these things, feeling for them in those aspects, as well as the loss of their mother. See, she can only describe empathy as it would appear on paper. That's how you know she doesn't know empathy. And yes, betrayal as well.
In some way, what caused the fatal injury? What happened in those hours between the last selfie, the selfie that she took, and when she was reported missing?
Uh-oh.
Oh, and to sort of fill that vacuum in a little bit too, again, with the way she was reported missing, Barry leaves Mother's Day morning. And again, the selfie is from the day prior, early afternoon. And then we know that he leaves in the very early morning hours of the next day on Mother's Day and goes north to Broomfield to conclude some construction or landscaping work that he was doing up in that area. Law enforcement was able to say, well, this is when activity stopped, is when this selfie was taken. So we don't know what happened in any, and also within the arrest affidavit is a lot of scuttlebutt about there being only one plate at dinner time.
Yeah.
Only one steak had been.
I mean, I that's not for me to determine, Deepak Mocktail, which is actually a really good question, but that's not for me to determine. I think that there was a financial motive, financial motivation, seeing as he inherited her inheritance. I think that there was a financial motivation. I don't think that he really has anything to gain by hurting his daughters. I feel like the only way that would happen is if there was a scenario to where he feels cornered, and he felt like there was nothing to lose by doing so and something to gain by doing so. But so I don't necessarily imagine a scenario where he would hurt one of his daughters any more than he already has. So yeah, I if I had to speculate, I'd say no. But if he's guilty of, Suzanne's disappearance, Suzanne's death, if he's responsible for that, then that would mean that he's capable of anything. But do I see a motive behind doing so? No.
Been taken out, etc., etc. So there's all of these unanswered questions surrounding when that selfie was taken and when she was reported missing. So he goes up to Broomfield, he's doing this work up there, and he reaches out to her a number of times and then contacts, I believe, one of the daughters and says, I can't get a hold of your mom. Can you please call the neighbor? I'm paraphrasing greatly here. So if I'm wrong, I'm open to correction, but contact the neighbor. And if she's not there, have the neighbor call 911. And the neighbor goes looking, and Suzanne's bike is not there, but her car is there, which is unusual because Suzanne normally loaded up her bike in her car and took it to a completely different mountain pass to ride on. I believe Chapel something. I can never remember that. It's this craziest thing. I have a great memory, except for the name of that damn mountain pass she'd go riding, but it wasn't.
But you think about the case every day since it happened, Karen. Every day since it happened. I mean, I can't remember fucking anything about the case, but I think about her and I cry and I pray for her to be found safe. Bullshit. Bullshit.
It wasn't Monarch Pass. It was on the other side, I believe, of Salida. So did she go on her bike? And the neighbors then, of course, call 911, and that's how everything else unfolded. So let's quickly jump back over to the article. Barry Morphew was arrested May 5th, 2021. So that's nearly a year after she disappeared, on charges of murder, after deliberation, tampering with physical evidence, and attempting to influence a public servant. And we also know that Barry, in the fall of 2021, voted for Trump in Suzanne's name.
I have to speed this up, folks, because I have beer to drink, and she's taking too damn long with her bullshit.
The case was afflicted with complications. In December 2021, the judge assigned to preside over the case removed himself after defense attorneys raised questions about a conflict of interest. I think we already read that.
Yeah.
In March 2022, Barry's lawyers asked for dismissal after they received an internal affairs document surrounding the Colorado Bureau of Investigation's agent in charge, Joe Cahill. In a court filing on March 1st, the prosecution says the defense is taking, quote, bits and pieces out of context, end quote. In the internal affairs document, Cahill stated, quote, the arrest of the suspect now, they believed at that time that it was the word. There was a lot of internal communications where I get the sense that there was some ego measuring. There was some egos clashing in whether to arrest him or not. There were some that were saying, do it now. And there was others saying, no, wait, we need more. We need more evidence before we push forward with this. And so clearly, obviously, those that were in the camp of waiting were in the right camp.
Now, since we're in the spirit of being right, okay? Since we're in the spirit of being right and calling shit, I said that the prosecution jumped the gun and went after Barry, not feeling confident in their investigation, and went ahead and prosecuted anyway. Now, what happens? This stuff happens after the fact. You can go back and watch. I did say so. I said that DA does not seem confident. You can ask Annie from 10 to Life. I spoke to her privately about this, and I was like, that DA, she doesn't seem confident. I don't know if they got enough, but yeah.
The article continues. There were also several hearings regarding what evidence and testimony was going to be allowed in court, with multiple motions filed. A judge dismissed the case against Barry Morphew in April 2022, which was, again, about a year then.
Predictable.
After that, so that would have been 2 years after Suzanne's disappearance. At the time, the 11th Judicial District Attorney Linda Stanley filed the motion to, quote, dismiss without prejudice, which means the prosecutors could file charges against Barry Morphew at a later date. Now, side story here a little bit, side tangent here a little bit about Linda Stanley. She's had her own basket of issues and problems since the inception of this case and her handling of it, chiefly of which is her decision to appear on a YouTube channel while the case was still hotly being investigated. And just almost immediately after charges were filed against Barry.
Now, that's canceled Karen being jealous. Now, one thing you guys got to know, canceled Karen is one of the most insanely jealous YouTubers that you'll ever meet, because she prides herself on being a critical thinker, right? And if somebody who she's trying to get on her channel to interview, because she's a fucking journalist too, right? Refuses, and then they go on someone else's channel, she'll target that other YouTuber and trash them as much as possible. It's hilarious.
Linda Stanley decided that she needed the limelight. The limelight, the calling of those bright lights, and all of the media, with whom I'm sure were beating down her door, which she should have had the decency and strength to withstand. The inappropriateness of the YouTubers and having her on was a complete cannonball to the case. And I said so at the time when it happened. When it was going on, I said, this is stupid, this is a mistake, and this is damaging to justice for Suzanne.
Translation, why didn't I think to reach out to her? Why didn't I think to reach out to her for an interview first?
To true justice for her. And, you know, clearly everybody knew better than me. And the train went forward right off the track. And this YouTube channel, whom I won't even name, proceeded to interview this district attorney. And she just completely cannonballed the case. She just threw a...
Okay. That's not what cannonballed the case. It's not. You see the jealousy here. It's very, very... it's very, very simple. Because that had nothing to do with cannonballing the case. Was it an unprofessional decision on that district attorney's part to do that? Absolutely. But it had nothing to do with what went wrong with the case. What went wrong with the case was she moved forward with prosecution before they had enough evidence to convict. Simple. That's it. No, it had nothing to do with... Yeah, exactly. She could be the best DA alive. It had nothing to do with her going on a YouTube channel. Do I think that that's damning in some cases? 100%. Absolutely. I would never, ever, ever reach out to someone involved and charged with the responsibility of getting justice in an open investigation. I would never do that if I actually cared about justice for a victim. I would never do that. Now, I will give a missing family member, the family member of a missing person, a platform to speak on, absolutely, in order to get the word out and spread the word about their missing loved one. That I'll do. But I will never, ever, ever reach out to someone like a DA or a cop who is investigating a case and jeopardize the investigation. I would never do that. Because I don't want justice to be an issue. I don't want justice to be derailed. But make no mistake, the DA going on a YouTube channel could have been damning, and it was an irresponsible move on that DA's part, but it had nothing to do with what happened. She simply did not have enough evidence to present to the court and convict Barry Morphew. There was too much doubt that the DA or that his defense could create. Simple. Very, very simple.
Threw a complete damaging monkey wrench into it with that appearance. And she gave Barry's highly skilled defense team that open door with which they could begin to challenge not only the ethics of Linda Stanley, but the strength of the case against Barry. And this was just completely damaging to the case. And Linda Stanley then also faced a series of not completing work that she was supposed to be completing, not doing things she was supposed to be doing. And her reputation has just taken a major, major hit as a result of all of this. So they're not going to be able Catherine, are you here still or no? Because Catherine and I were talking about this too. They're not going to be able to try this. Linda Stanley is not going to be able to be on this. This is going to have to be handed off to another prosecutor in another
already handed off to another prosecutor, you know, since you know so much about the case.
district, in a neighboring district, perhaps Moffat. I don't know. But this is going to have to be handed off to another district.
There's another
and another
prosecutor and another judge already.
If they're going to refile the charges against Gary Morphew, which
it's already done.
I'm going to predict that they are. And I'm going to predict that they're going to
There's no prediction.
do so.
It already happened.
Christmas, in my opinion.
They're
going to be able to
it's
shore
long
up their case
before
against
Christmas
them.
and it already happened.
Whether that case has merit, I don't know. I have not heard it yet. We only have a snippet of what their case is in the well, I say a snippet. we have a large gold nugget. We have a large Colorado gold nugget of what the investigating authorities have compiled. And it's damning. I mean, there's too many, like I was saying to Catherine,
God.
I can be as fair can be. I look at everything fairly, but when you look at a case like this, and there's too many, you can write off one oddity or coincidence, you can write off two, maybe, but once you get past that point, no, it becomes obvious, at least I think to reasonable minds, what the direction an investigation should take. And I think investigators were right to pursue Barry based on what they had and what they knew.
But he was
so
innocent.
If I had to outline them and list them, I would say, number one, the marital issues.
But I thought he was innocent.
Number two, the fact that her last signs of life were inside the home. Number three, the fact that, there's no reason, there's nothing in the evidence that I'm aware of that suggests that she had contact with someone else that might want to murder her. Look, it could be some crazy coincidence. Could be she had a brush up against a serial killer. I don't know. But the simplest answer, it appears to me, law enforcement has been going towards for a long time now. Simplest answer meaning that her husband had reason. There was a financial issue here with her wanting money back. There was her wanting a divorce. There was her being fearful that he was not going to make a divorce easy, that he was going to allow it because it could get messy financially. It could get damaging financially. And so when you add all of this up, there was issues in the marriage. She went missing from the home. Every reason to believe.
But she griped and complained even though she had the good life, right? Okay.
Last signs of life in the home, sunbathing. Husband has contact with her that we know of. And there ended up being these financial issues and threats of divorce. Nothing officially filed, but threats of divorce. Those are strong, compelling reasons for law enforcement to look at the husband. Again, I don't know what their case is ultimately going to be, and if they ultimately try, I believe they will. I believe it's coming. If I were Barry tonight, I would be very, very worried.
Why? He's innocent.
I would be very, very worried. Teresa Henderson Clayton, all right, let's go back to, I'm going to go back to the map for people so they get an idea of the.
Why would he be worried? Why would an innocent man be worried? According to you, he's innocent.
And of course, I always say to people, critical thinking demands, if you're a student of critical thinking or you're a devotee of critical thinking, you open your mind to every single possibility and then you run it through the eye of the needle to see if it can fit through the eye of the needle. So you open your mind.
I disagree unless I'm missing something, but I disagree. I don't think DNA will have the conclusion as to who murdered her anyway. I mean, it's been 3 years, so the elements have taken over. The elements have taken a toll on her remains, guaranteed. I don't see how DNA is actually going to have the conclusion of who actually murdered her. I think DNA is probably what identified her, but yeah, I mean, even if they found the spot where she was actually murdered and then moved to another spot, unless they could place Barry in that spot separate from her body, because I mean, even if they found his DNA on her body, he was her husband, I mean, I don't really see how his defense could not dispute that. There's too much doubt there. So I don't think DNA is going to really be the answer. I mean, how? The way she was murdered? No. Unless they found a murder weapon with Barry's DNA on it that can match her, then yeah, I don't see that happening. But if he was stupid enough to leave the murder weapon with her and his DNA on it, then I don't see how that's going to happen.
Find every single possibility. And so the possibilities are almost too numerous to count. One of the, how long? An hour and a half, right? One of the possibilities, there's several, but one could be that her abduction and murder was hired out by persons unknown or persons known. So that's, of course, something else that, you know, if law enforcement take a look at these remains and they're not able to forensically tie in any reason to believe that Barry Morphew physically caused her demise, they might need to look at outside parties. Critical thinking demands you consider she had a brush with someone murderous. Maybe when she took her bike to get serviced, there was someone who worked at the bike servicing place who was a dangerous individual. He was able to then access her address, and he came and assaulted Suzanne and dumped her remains 50 miles out.
Again, just throwing mud everywhere and hoping that it sticks.
Perhaps Suzanne had connected with someone online who was a dangerous individual. She met with them willingly and went missing in that way. So,
like, fucking congratulations, bro. Congratulations. You can you can come up with all kinds of different scenarios as to what happened to Suzanne, since there's no actual information as to what happened to her, except she was found 50 miles from her house. So, I mean, you know, so congratulations on being able to think of all kinds of different scenarios, since literally the possibilities are infinite. So good job, Suzanne. Excellent.
So there's any number of possible scenarios, but you have to thread them through the eye of the needle with everything else that's known. So, but this is so huge. It's unbelievably huge. I'm blown away. But most importantly, I'm happy for her. I'm not happy that she's gone. I'm not happy that she is no longer with us. I'm happy that she has been found. And she can receive a proper Christian, dignified funeral, memorial, whatever that is for her and her family, and a proper dignified resting of her remains. So it's just huge. I was, like I said, when I Googled it, and my heart was slamming. It was beating so hard. But immediately I felt a sense of joy. I'm happy for her soul.
No, you were happy that you finally you finally thought you had content for your Patreon members. That's it. You know, and you know, as long as it's Christian, her services will be dignified.
Imagine what her daughters are going through.
Wow.
I can only imagine what her sister is going through, what her brother is going through, what her best friend. I cannot overstate how huge this is.
That's a good point.
This is very huge.
It's huge in the sense that, like, yes, there's some closure, but there's still, I mean, she was already presumed dead anyway. You know? It's huge that there's some closure to where they can actually provide her with some sort of memorial service that is fit by the standards of her loved ones and what her wishes would have been, whether they be Christian, whether they be otherwise. Okay? I just want to be very clear about that. But it's huge in that sense, sure. But what she's doing here is she's just failing to admit that she has been neglecting her Patreon members and has had nothing, and has been living in shame over the fact that she lost that lawsuit and was ordered to pay $500,000 and had nothing to talk about out of fear of ridicule. Simple. And now she finds some sort of development in some case that she talked about in the past and figured this is a good distraction from that. And yet I could still hold on to the very few Patreon members that I have left, since I've been neglecting them of content.
She could have easily never. How many people do we know that are never found? So, and again, that's going to be another really interesting story, is what was the other case they were working on? How did they stumble upon these remains? All right, let's finish up the article. And then I'm going to. So the case against Barry was dismissed about a year and a half ago. I can't believe how quickly time flies, too. The case was dismissed, but it was dismissed without prejudice, which meant that if new information was discovered, that prosecutors could reopen the case. But as I said, they're going to have, and this can be done, this can definitely be done. They're going to have to find a new jurisdiction. They're going to have to find a new judge.
Kill shot, homie. I had to, because I have beer to drink and I want to get to it.
They're going to have to find a new prosecutor. There's absolutely no way that Linda Stanley should touch this in any way, shape, or form. She's going to want to, but that's too damn bad. Going on the YouTube.
I mean, again, she's been following this case and thinking about it every day, and still doesn't know that Linda Stanley isn't going to be, she's not even the DA anymore.
The YouTube channel and doing the victory lap and giving in to greedy, desperate YouTubers was the nail in her, in my opinion, her professional coffin.
No, it wasn't.
She cannot use this case. This is an extremely high profile case, and it absolutely should not be in her hand, which kind of complicates and gums up the work, but it can be it can be done, and it's going to happen, in my opinion. I could be dead wrong. And I need to be very, very clear.
Bro, I've been talking about the case against Karen Reed as of late. Okay? In the case against Karen Reed, her attorneys have been very public, going on many different interviews. Now, I don't know if they've gone on any YouTube channels, but very public and speaking about the evidence that they plan on presenting to exonerate their client. That's not a killer of their careers. Not at all. It's not in the slightest bit a killer of their careers. But it would be if Karen was covering that case and she asked them to join her panel, and then they decided, no, I'm going to go with this YouTuber, then it would be a career killer.
Barry Morphew could be completely innocent. I'm going to stop the screen because I'm going to head over to another screen. He is absolutely innocent at this point, in my mind. I will approach this just as I did with the Murdoch case.
She just said it again, bro. You just heard her say it again. Dude, pick a street and stick to it.
In my mind. He is absolutely innocent at this point, in my mind. He is absolutely innocent at this point, in my mind. I will approach this just as I did with the Murdoch case. It has to be really strong to convince me. It better be there. They better have those I's dotted and those T's crossed. They better have a clean, shiny new prosecutor and a clean, shiny new jurisdiction. And they better have solid forensic evidence leading Barry to that area, linking him to the area of Moffat, where her remains were found. And they better have solid forensic evidence linking him in some way to her death.
We all know that.
To her passing. So what could that look like? That might look like evidence of something they find in her hair, evidence of some substance, maybe the bone marrow, evidence possibly on her physical person.
Oh my God.
Of course, there might be hairs on her remains. That could be explained away.
Oh,
but there needs to be something solid in a forensic manner.
This is the mind of someone who actually claimed that if Chris Watts had pled not guilty, she could have got him off in court. Kill Shot Report gifted 5 memberships. Thanks, buddy. Rowdy, Casefied, Chapped Tass, Happy Life, And D's as your world turns. Congrats on your gifted memberships. And thank you, Killshot. Appreciate that, buddy.
Leading him to her demise. Or enough that they can lead a jury to that point. But I would need something solid. I would need.
I ain't going nowhere.
But of course,
Killshot. Believe that.
I can't lie. The fact she's found 50 miles south, so close, all this time. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. And while I'm on that subject, it would seem to me that if they had him, I don't know, maybe they made a strategic decision to not include in the arrest affidavit if they have him on the telematics or if they have his phone geolocation going south to Moffat. Maybe that's some strategic decision they made and not include that. I don't know. I wouldn't even begin to guess. But if they cannot at all put him in that area, that's going to be really troubling, people. Really troubling.
Like,
I don't know. My brain is just going a million miles a minute. I'm still in shock, disbelief,
so's your mouth.
Hope, happy. I mean, I knew it. I knew it. I've been saying for I don't know how long. How long have I been? Maybe a year and a half. I've been saying 2 years. I've been saying that they needed to find her. Number one, they had to, period, for the case to move forward. There was no way the case was going to get back off the ground and move forward in any direction, whether it be towards Barry or towards persons unknown. There would be no way for that case to get moving without her remains being found. I've been saying that for 2 years.
Wow. You called it. You called the most fucking obvious fucking thing on the fucking planet. Yes. There was no fucking way that they would ever even think about trying this case again unless they found her body. That's everybody with half a brain who followed this case said the same thing. I mean, congratulations. Unreal.
And I've also been saying that I believed that would happen. And it would happen in one of two ways. They had a targeted area and they would ultimately have success, or she would be found just by happenstance. And it appears as though she was found by happenstance. They were in that area working on another case and came upon.
So let me get this straight. You literally named every possibility of circumstance that they would find Suzanne, and you get to say you are right about how they were going to find her. Every single possibility. So, but you get to pat yourself on the back and say, I was right. Told you. Like, I can't believe people give you money.
Is that the remains
crazy
on the 22nd of September. And over the past 5 days, they've been doing DNA testing to see if it was Suzanne. My brain is going a million miles a minute.
No, just your mouth.
I can't even, like I said.
I mean, if your brain is going a million miles a minute to come up with that, well then you're something. I don't know what to call you, but you're something.
I'm retarded?
You said it, I didn't, Karen. You said it, I didn't.
So sad for her. You know, I often talk about death because I'm not afraid to. I talk openly about death because I worked for 30 years and I saw so much death. It is such a natural process and we all go through it, and it happens.
You worked for 30 years as an assistant occupational therapist and know so much about death. It's a lot of deaths in your profession, are there? Really? A lot of people terminal needing occupational therapy, that, you know, a lot of slip and falls during some water stretches. Okay.
We just don't know. Most of us don't know when. And we all have different kinds of deaths. Right? I mean, some have natural deaths from
Dude, I
age
can
or
honestly
a
say
natural disease process.
I've been familiar with this person for 5 years now. Right? 5 years. And I don't think I've ever heard her sound this stupid. Like she is, this is the sound of all the air being let out. This is the human equivalent to a flat fucking tire with a bent rim right here.
Some have shocking sudden deaths from car accidents or accidents. Some have shocking deaths from murder, slayings, suicide, overdose. There's a variety of ways you can die. There's only one way to be. Well, there's a couple
Is
ways
there?
Vaginally, this is cesarean. But there's a wide variety of ways we die. We're all going to do it. We don't like to think.
Jesus, I thought some of us were immortal, and I thought there was only like a couple of ways that you could die. Fuck, the wisdom is overwhelming, people. I'm overwhelmed with wisdom right here. This is critical thinking at its best.
To think about it. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to consider it. It's scary. It's hard. It's painful. But we all must go through
it. Tell us more.
But there's some deaths that are just so unfair.
Suzanne's Confucius
falls in that category.
Confucius, please tell us more about life and death.
It's not right. She was young. She was vibrant, beautiful, sexy, finding her independence, finding her way in life without relying on a man as she had for so many years, wanting desperately her own independence, only to find up dead at the end of that road. And not only dead, but missing. A level of uncertainty that now, tonight, has been effectively reversed with the finding of her remains. She's no longer missing. There is no longer a mystery in regard to what happened to Suzanne.
She's like the new version of a fortune cookie. You remember when fortune cookies were cool? Like back in the day when you ordered Chinese food, it would have some really, really wise shit that made you go, fuck, okay, huh, cool. Made you look forward to the fortune cookie after your Chinese food. And now when you crack open a fortune cookie, it says some shit like, you are a lover of life. What? Fuck. This is what my fortune cookie says. You are a lover of life. Motherfucker. And like, even though the fortune cookie is complimentary, you still feel like you got fucking ripped off. She's the new fortune cookie, bro. Yeah, that's she's the new version of the fortune cookie. Just fucking lazy ass. Fucking no air in the fucking tire at all, bro.
She's not in Ecuador. She didn't Gone Girl. She's not hiding out.
Which
She's
is
not
what
living
you
her best
said she
life.
was,
Teaching in
by
some
the way.
Ecuadorian village.
Which is what you said she was doing.
She died. Likely was murdered. Likely was concealed so that her murder would not be discovered. If she was found in a shallow grave, she certainly didn't put herself there. But thank you, God, that she has been found. That chapter, at least, that unknowing, that uncertainty, that mystery.
Wait, did she
now
really
she
do
gets to
that?
tell her story. And if investigators handle this the right way, and they let the clues and the evidence speak to them, Suzanne can tell her story. And with any luck, the truth will be gleaned. And facts and evidence will emerge that will put a final point on that story. What happened, why, and by whom. That's all that's left to tell. There's been a lot of talk about Suzanne's daughters, and I've been guilty of it. The questioning, well, why are they so strongly in his camp? Do they not question at all? Do they not? And what shoes? Why are they wearing high heels and whatnot? Okay. All of that, set that aside.
Yeah,
Tonight,
let's forget I fucking harassed
for
these
these
victims. Oh.
They have their mom back. in the most horrific, unimaginable way, but they have her back. They can lay her to rest. They can visit her remains. They have a tangible thing that they can hold on to and remember their mom.
Let's guys, let's forget that I used my YouTube platform to shit all over the clothing that these poor girls decided to wear at their father's trial, that I nitpicked at their appearance. Let's forget I did all that, but let's now come together, because now I've all of a sudden developed empathy. Let's now just come together. Just shut up. No, yeah, I know I did that. But now, let's all come together.
That's huge for them. And I would hope that the people around those girls do not try to exert any sort of pressure on them. Just let them know you're there and that you care.
Bro, why the fuck, first of all, why the fuck do you think that anybody is listening to you who happens to be around these daughters? Why the fuck do you think that anybody is listening to you that happens to be around them? A. B, if they were, what makes you fucking think that they would listen to you after the reputation that you've developed? What makes you think that anything you say holds any fucking merit to anyone at all? Incredible.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Nicole Persley, thank you so much. I know we had some scuffles or scuttles in the past, but thank you for the laughs. I honestly don't remember. If I'm being completely honest, I really don't remember. But what matters is that you're here now and we're cool. And I appreciate the support. That means a lot. Thank you.
This is a huge pivotal moment, but it begins a new fork in this case, because it could go in either direction. Their father could be guilty of this, or it could be a complete stranger.
Which one sticks? Which one sticks? Let me throw
learning that story.
Throw it against the wall, see which
Suzanne's
sticks.
death falls in that category of unfair deaths. Her story deserves to be told in a very complete, cohesive, and cogent way.
We know.
So that her soul can process it, her own death, and take some comfort in there being some finality to this and some accountability, truthfully. So I got a lot of thoughts tonight. So many rolling around in my brain. Pamela Foster, Suzanne Morphew's remains have been found 50 miles south of Poncha Springs, which is the Maysville and Salida area.
She's
where Suzanne
reporting the news now.
Suzanne's home was. Her remains have been found 50 miles south. We're hearing some scuttlebutt about it being a shallow grave, but we don't know exactly for sure. We just know that that's where they were found on September 22nd, and they were found while law enforcement were conducting investigative activities in a completely unrelated separate case. So law enforcement discovered the remains while working on another case, but again, which is very significant to me. It's going to be interesting. All of these details as they fall into place are going to be very interesting. What was this case that they were?
I guarantee you, every fucking idiot listening to her live who pays for this fucking Patreon already knows all this. Like, they already fucking know. They're not depending on her to break the news.
Working on it, they discovered Suzanne's remains. So they were working on a separate case. Her remains were discovered. And over the past 5 days, there was DNA testing done. I'm going to presume autopsy and medical examination of the remains, but they are absolutely confirmed to be Suzanne Morphew. So we know without a doubt that her remains have been found. They have been put through the proper procedures and identified as her remains. So that chapter has closed in the story. And now we are moving on to a new chapter in the story. Wonderfully. This is wonderful news because her story can now advance and hopefully some truth can be discerned in regards to what happened to her. And I'm sorry, but I'm superstitious, and I just happen to believe that the spirits, especially of murder victims, it is important to them that the truth of their stories be told. And not all of them get that. Not all of them get that. And we're one step closer for her. One step closer for her. And that's huge. Tracy, I believe so. I believe that they were working on another case and looking for possibly remains on another case and stumbled upon Suzanne's remains. And they did the right thing. They took the necessary time that they needed to determine 100% it was her. And they did so before announcing that it was. No arrests have been made. Barry has not been arrested. And the Chaffee County Sheriff, John Spezzi, has been very clear. They have not made an arrest and they are still processing what they have found. And that the discovery of her remains has, in their words, caused more questions than answers. And so I found that choice of wording very, very interesting. So is the discovery of her remains incongruent or inconsistent with the forensic evidence that they have in terms of Barry Morphew's truck telematics and his phone geolocation data? And have they ascertained that there's anything about her remains that is not consistent with their original theory in which they had Barry murdering her? So
I think we got a
all of these things are going to be answered and emerging over the next days, weeks, and months.
I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Oh, Misook. What happened to the money song super chat? That's it right there. Your sexy dancer, just don't do it for me. Laughs. That wasn't me. That was on Morbid's. May his channel rest in peace.
I will be definitely covering it, Laura. And in fact, I might actually cover it every single night. Because that is how committed I am.
Oh,
and
really?
How important this story has been to me for 3 years. 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to stress before closing, Barry Morphew is completely innocent in this matter until he's proven guilty in a court of law. I stand by that. I believe that 100%.
Nice save.
I'm not law enforcement, and I'm not privy to anything law enforcement has other than that which they've already disclosed. So, however, as a caveat, tonight, my thoughts 100% go out.
No, they don't. Stop it.
To Suzanne's daughters.
Oh my God, bro.
I cannot imagine the pain that you are feeling. I'm so sorry. I love my mom more than life. And I'm so lucky that I have my mom still. And I don't ever take a single day of that for granted with my mom. It must be incredibly hard to lose your mom in this way, in this very public way. But I firmly believe that your mom is so happy that she has been found. And she wants to be buried in a proper, dignified way and in a tangible way where you can remember her. I'm just so sorry for your loss. This is just, it's unimaginable. But at the same time, this is an important turning point in Suzanne's story. And whichever way it ends up going, whichever way we go in the fork in the road, whether it's they file new charges against Barry and the case proceeds against him with strong renewed evidence because they now have her remains, as I have been predicting for 2 years. I could be wrong. I could be. I'm rarely wrong, but I could be.
No.
But I predict they will
wrong.
refile charges. I predict Barry will be rearrested. And I predict the state of Colorado will attempt to hold him accountable for Suzanne's death. But if it goes the other way and it's a completely different person, still at the end of the day, her remains have been found and she can be given a proper Christian burial and remembered in a dignified way. And that chapter is closed and her daughters can have, I won't say the C word, but there will be that finality of that mystery. It's not hanging out there anymore. It's not like,
what,
when you've got something like that so huge.
That's a bad word.
It truly is as though you're waiting to exhale. You're holding your breath for 2 years or 3 years. And then you're able to exhale because there is that finality to a horrible situation. But if that fork goes the other way and Chaffee County and the CBI and the FBI need to relook at all of this evidence, and if there is some other person or persons responsible, let's make sure they are held responsible and we don't just take the easy path and go to there. They've admitted there's more questions than answers, so this is still anyone's game. It's still up there.
God.
But this is a good night. This is huge. So just to recap before I log off, they have found Suzanne Morphew's remains 50 miles south of where her last known location was, in Maysville, Colorado, on Puma Path, from her big, beautiful home. She's been found 50 miles south in the town of Moffat by investigative authorities as they were looking into a separate related case. She was found on September 22nd. And from September 22nd until today, they were working on doing a verified DNA match. And the announcement came out tonight. So I'm sure everybody's just going to be kind of like learning about this and hopefully tuning into the show. I'm going to take the screen recording of this, and I'm going to put it over on Patreon for you Patreon people who want to listen to it in the background. One of the unfortunate things, and I'm streaming right now on Twitter and Twitch and Facebook. But the thing about Facebook is you can't play it in the background. You can only listen to me while you surf Facebook. So if you want a way to listen to this in the background, you can do so on my Patreon. So I'm going to put a copy of this over on the Patreon, and then I'm going to put a link to it on the Facebook page. And you can put it in the background of your phone and go about your business on your phone doing what you want to do. And I've been tossing around the idea of opening a Rumble. I just, I've been at it. I'm not going to get into it right now. I've been just doing K things, crazy K things. So, all right, guys, I will see you tomorrow night. We're going to dive right back into this, and I'm going to kind of do a recap again. And maybe by tomorrow, we'll even have some more developments.
Shut your fucking mouth!
So, all right. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be putting a link to the Patreon so you guys can, and I would appreciate the sub. If you can sub the Patreon, I think it's like $1. If you can go over there and sub to the show, I'm going to put a link over there too, or you can just watch it here for free. I'm not going to put ads on this just because it's weird and too much work. But if you want to send me, if you appreciate my voice, if you appreciate the show, if you've got something out of this, if you want to help a girl out, I'm not going to say no. You can Venmo, Cash App me. I think Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and I'll put the links in the description of this when I'm all done. And I'm going to go. All right. All right, you guys. Love you so much, and take care, and see you tomorrow.
Get the fuck out!
God damn it. Oh my God. She is fucking exhausting, bro. Yeah, let's hear it for canceled.
Ooh, you suck.
Yeah, let's get some of those tomatoes, folks. You're terrible. You suck. You're awful. Ooh. Canceled Karen, everybody. So, guys, that's going to do it for me as well. I mean, how about that, man? Dude, like that was, I mean, I've never seen her just so shamelessly just throw fucking shit at the wall, hoping to see anything stick and actually try to save face for how, I mean, that's the thing is she could sit there and do that for her new Patreon members, but how I don't see how she can get new Patreon members. I just don't see it. I don't see her building with that shit. I don't see her building a new audience via Twitch or Twitter. I don't see that happening. Everybody sees through already. YouTube was the thing for her. She got booted twice. Like, I just don't understand. I mean, and the second time she was doing YouTube streams under another channel, I mean, she was getting maybe 50 people in her chat, maybe. Everybody's just onto her. Once she got booted off and she got sued, everybody was just onto her already and already sick of her shit. Incredible. Yeah, well, she thinks she's a gamer, Lisa Oldham's. She thinks that she's a gamer. I game. I'm a gamer. I game. Get on your crown. It's just another method for her to abuse her mods. It's just really funny. She makes them fucking play with her and she can abuse them. Get on your crown. It's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Anyways, guys. So who was the last person to hit the like? Because I'm hold on, let me look up these feet pics. Who was the last one to hit the like on this stream? Let me look up these feet pics real quick. I'm just kidding. I appreciate you guys, everybody who shows support. Even especially just by being here, man. But those of you who should support in every other possible way, through memberships, through super chats. I really, really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you guys hitting the like and just hanging out with me. I know it's a late night. I know a lot of you hung out with me through another totally unrelated stream tonight. So it means a lot to me that you guys stuck with me all these hours. But yeah, you guys are absolutely fantastic, and I'm really lucky to have this community. It means a lot to me. It really does. All joking aside, everything. But you guys are amazing. I really appreciate you guys. Please take care of yourselves. Get plenty of sleep. And the weekend's almost here. So I love you. We'll do this again very soon, my friends.